Hey, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. This is the preview episode going into Season 69 5 vs. 5 Grand Arena Championship for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. As always, our show is focused around the thereabouts at the top 100 of Kyber 1, and to discuss, what we're doing to get ready for this next season, I do have the regular members of our show. We've got Dagger, TJ, going around in order, by the way, special edition, we got the cameras on, so hold on. Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, Fatal over in the far corner, and in the middle, between us all here, centered at the bottom of the frame, is our special guest, Vexitron. Another top 100, I think, closing in on top 50 competitor here in Kyber 1. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Tass? What's going on, everybody? I've known about this for a while. Feel honored to be on here. You guys are all insane players, so very awesome to be here. And I hit rank 50 for the first time this season, so
well done, man.
made it.
Well done. See you soon.
Nice, Jack.
See you
Good
soon.
to have you, man.
Yeah. You've been on a tear, and I really, you came on my radar first when you matched up with TJ. Said, I think I heard of this guy. He's a content creator. I'm like, oh yeah. And then when you won the match, I was like, okay, well, this guy's all right. And then in the same season, you guys fought again, and you won again. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
It's not bad.
You had to have your real dad on the show.
I've got him probably by about 20 years, so it feels good being in first dads, but
No doubt.
Thanks for that.
No doubt. Well, guys, it is time to dig in. First things first, let's welcome our guest, Vexitron. Questions for you. First, tell us a bit about yourself. When did you start playing the game?
So I started playing 1 month after launch, so that'd be December 2015.
Wow, okay.
I've been here for a while. Started on a wrestling trip. My friend told me about a mobile game with Star Wars. He knew I was a big Star Wars guy. We're in a hotel cutting weight. Downloaded the game. Played every day since.
This was high school
That's
for you
the lore.
because you sound like a really young guy. So, like,
It was actually college, 2015. I know.
That's
I look
crazy.
a lot younger than what I actually am, but
that's fair.
I was college, and I've played ever since. Started free to play. Dropped my first $20 in the game to get Nihilus the 4-star. That was the first time I ever dropped. I was hyped about Nihilus. I'm like, wait, we're getting Old Republic characters? You insane? So that was the first time I ever spent. Was never a heavy spender. Started creating content like a year ago. So I'm a year and 1 month now. Started to put a little bit more investment because of doing content. So starting to get the new stuff, but I'm not anywhere near crack and level or anything like that. But that's kind of like my lore.
This is completely unrelated, but whose lightsaber is that behind you?
It's a great question. So I got a double-bladed saber of, I think it's a combination of Maul and someone else.
Okay.
But I got it, and I have the other side not attached, so I can lean it on a lightsaber stand, so it acts like kind of like a lamp. So I
Well,
could
that's
put the
awesome.
double blade on it, but I do it as like a little background.
Yeah, it's a nice
on the top-
mood light in the office there.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't recognize it, so I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other side is Maul. I forgot who this one is. It might be I'm not gonna say Revan, but it might be one of the Old Republic. I gotta check the order.
Yeah, by the way, I should, for the occasional rare fan of the show that pops up brand new, I should introduce the rest of the regular show and get their voice recognized. Dagger, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, there's TJ. How you doing?
Yo.
Looking sharp over there.
Okay.
Got the guns out
Thanks.
today, I see. All right, we got Sasha Aisha
Yeah.
hiding in the corner over there.
Glad you could fit me in camera with TJ's guns. Thank you.
That's right. And I have to say, I love how even and proportional all of your frames are. Whoever edited this scene together clearly is a practiced, skilled hand. And
It only
It
took
also
long
doesn't
enough for my hair to
take
dry.
long periods of
It
time.
only
You don't have
took-
to wait at
yeah.
all. You
It
just
only
jump
took
in,
long
it's
enough-
magically all set up.
that's good.
I just got out of the shower when we started setting this up. My hair is dry now, so whoever did it took
Right.
a fucking long time.
I still
Well-
want to hear what Fatal sounds like.
That's right. Yeah, I wonder what his voice sounds like. Hi, Fatal. How you doing?
Well, what? I am here. I killed one breed.
Mystery solved.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was fatal. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
All All right, next question for Vex. Where is your account at these days? Your size of your account, what kind of projects are you working on, so on and so forth.
So I don't think I'm anywhere near you guys. I'm 13.5 million galactic power. I super focus on like Journey Guide, Conquest. Didn't really start to bump the relic levels up to like the required units until recently. So try to be super efficient with my roster. I'm starting to get way more, we're really end game now, so I could start to bump up the relic levels of other characters. So in terms of projects, what I'm working on right now, I have pretty much everything that I would need besides the pirates. So looking to get SM33 up and running right away, trying to figure out where to put him in the meantime. But I'm trying to improve my fleet relics a little bit. But other than that, it's honestly mods, Datacrons. The main focus for me to get. I think, and working on off meta counters. I think the big thing for me recently is perfecting certain off meta that what my opponents might not be having. So that's currently what I'm trying to perfect as well.
Nice. Anything that you can share with the class, or is this all secret sauce under development?
No, I don't mind sharing. I'm sure you guys are aware, but I think a big thing for me, getting into the top 100 at least, has been Great Mothers against any version of Ahsoka that doesn't involve a Terminator. I mean, I could take out Ezra's as long as I can outspeed. It's pretty much, it's cake. As long as you have the modding correctly and your spirit doesn't whiff, I don't see how you can lose. If you go against the WAD variant that has a stacking offense level 3, you're going to out damage the recovery. So I think having that to my disposal as a counter, insane. So that's a big one that I'm actively working with. And then obviously Queen Amidala with the support cron is insane. So that helped me a lot as well.
What speed would you think would be reasonable for people to try? I mean, I don't know how much you do on the back end theory crafting about how to stop what you're currently doing, but like how fast would you say that like someone would have to push their Great Mothers to kind of?
I've got it on screen right now. I pulled it up.
Oh, I mean, where you guys are, I'm sure you're facing Ezra's at 380 speed.
Sometimes,
so for the majority of the player base, I'm recommending try to get Morgan and Great Mothers to at least 340. 341 on Great Mothers, 340 on Morgan. That gives them plus 30 with the leadership. You're going to outspeed any Ezra that has a 370 or 369 kind of thing. But you're going to see Ezra's, like I had to face Ezra's that were at 380 speed. I don't have my Great Mothers at 353 and 352. So I think if a big thing that I'm going to do going forward is, depending if my opponent has the Great Mother counter up and running with the speeds, if they do, I'm going to throw a Terminator on my defense to stop it. If they don't have the speeds, I'll throw in a different type of Datacron. So I think that's where, like, if I were to stop it, I would throw in the Jawa level 3 or the Harrison Dula level 3, the Terminator gain. That'll shut down the counter.
Because I know after watching your stream, well, after you fought TJ, I watched a couple of your streams, and then I talked with TJ, and I sped my Morgan and Great Mothers up into the 350s just to. I haven't done this
what I
counter
did
yet.
with TAS.
Yeah, I haven't done the counter yet, but I wanted to have it in my arsenal, and then people just never said Ahsoka Ezra on me, so I'm like, cool, JKR it is.
When you know your people, TAS helped me out. That's why my mother's is 354 and 353 because TAS was able to find me.
You, and that's not a flex; it's just funny because we ran the same bot.
Yeah, that's right. Also, that's right. You did get my template. Yeah, that is my template. But yeah, mine was set for that for specifically what TAS talked about, because what he was seeing for the fastest Ezras in the game.
Yeah, that we're likely to see. Sorry, you were going to say, Vex?
I was just going to say spirits modding is important as well, because Relic 9 Ezra has that dodge chance, and there are cases where if you don't have an accuracy arrow, you're going to whiff and you're not going to hit him, and he will 1v5 your team.
Now,
you will
interesting.
Now, Fatal, Fatal. I think a couple episodes ago,
you're welcome,
when we last talked about this with the Night Sister spirit, you were saying that there's accuracy that we should be getting from her kit or from somebody's kit that we are not properly. I want to say it's from Morgan, and I thought I heard the scuttlebutt was that there was a patch. I think it may have even gone out recently that actually fixed that. Do you happen to know anything about that?
So it's controversial on whether or not it's actually supposed to be accuracy given, or whether, because it seems like accuracy is the CG internal name for potency. So like the intentionality is kind of up in the air at the moment. I think it looked like it was confirmed that went on the Trello and said ready to release that it would be fixed. I want to say I remember seeing that it wasn't fixed, and then B, it added that bug where you couldn't ignore taunt on doomed people. And then I know this last patch fixed Doom, but I still don't think the accuracy was changed at all. I don't know. I don't know for sure whether or not we're actually ever looking at a scenario where that accuracy comes in. I would just be prepared under the assumption that it won't come in, and that if it ever shows up, then hey, congratulations. But I don't know that CG even should give them that at this point, to be honest. Great Mothers kind of need to be brought down a peg almost.
I'll be interested to hear how that goes for you this season, Vex, because I would imagine with the defense ignoring from Spirit that a high defense set 22 would offer you little impediment. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not scared of the high defense because as long as she has foresight, it doesn't matter. I bring in the highest critical damage con that I have. If I have a stacking level 3 with offense, that's just an extra bonus. I think against Watambor, you're going to need it because you're going to time out. She's going to be getting
I have seen some people time out last 3s. I think that'll be less likely in 5s.
Yeah, I mean, having the 2 troopers are helpful.
Right. All right, next item. Let's see. What's your favorite thing about Swugga these days? We're a Grand Arena focused show, but it can be something of yours. It's not Grand Arena. That's fair.
Hate to disappoint you, but my favorite thing is Grand Arena.
I'm so delighted to hear it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's always have been competitive by nature. Even when I lose, I like to, figure out what I did wrong, what my opponent did correctly, learn, adapt. So every loss that I have, every time I fail, I want to see what I did wrong or what I could have done differently. So I think my favorite thing about the game is Grand Arena, being able to out-efficient my opponent, not even just winning, but winning cleanly. Like, I don't like winning with a score of 2010 or 1995 or something. I want to get the 2080s, the 2070s. I want to be able to get those perfect banner wins and just out-efficient my opponent in every way without cheesing. I'm not a big cheese guy, but I do like being able to off-meta perfect those counters and get the 65s, the 57s, stuff like that. So that's what I enjoy the most. And also, I love that I get to play with characters I would never get to play with in my life. Like, I'm a big Old Republic fan. KOTOR was my favorite game as a kid. I get to play with all these characters from these different games I never thought I'd get to play with. Like, I get to play with Taron Malicos. He's from the Fallen Order game. Like, I never thought I'd get to use him anywhere. Like, that's the cool thing about this game.
Fair.
I appreciate the little jab at making us all feel old.
My bad.
No, I thought you said favorite game as a kid. I'm like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
I love those games, though. Love those games.
Well, next question is: describe yourself as a GAC competitor. What's your point of view on the game? I guess you kind of gave us a preview into that in the sense that you want to be. It's not enough that you win. You want to do it with finesse. You want the high banners. But is there anything else to that? Is that all encompassing on your Grand Arena philosophy?
I also like being the guy that's the underdog. I feel like for the most part, my roster is always outgunned, and I'm not just trying to.
You'll have that if you're number 50. You'll be having that.
Yeah, like I'm facing 14.8 million, 15 million. The mod score is tremendous. I think I remember I was watching the recap of my match with TJ, and when you're doing the GAC compare, I'm pretty sure I'm all in red. Like everything is just the advantage is everywhere. So being able to try and beat the opponents that I shouldn't be beating on paper, to me is like you can still have success in this game even if you aren't at the tippy top of the spear or a major spender. And I'm not saying that TJ is a major spender or anyone in here is, but like being able to do that is fun. So it just gives hope to players that are just either mini dolphins or that you could still perform well in this game without dropping lots of money. So.
That's right. I mean, I don't think you'd be the first guest we had on the show that was a competitor within the top 50. That, we've actually had somebody on here that was free to play before doing that. So yes, like good to hear more voices like yours repeating that, because as mature as this game is, somebody who might otherwise be interested in trying, but they feel like, man, there's no way I could ever get up to the top of the game as old as it is. It can be done. It can be done. All right. Let's see.
It
the
also
next.
helps.
Go ahead.
Helps when you have Danos' old account, and you can be free to play on that.
Sorry.
I have 3 accounts right now. It's insane.
Oh yeah, I said it also helps to have Danos' old account because you can be free to play on that account.
Okay.
Yeah, so you
I'm just
can.
throwing- I'm just throwing a shade. I'm just throwing shade at one of the friends of the show and like a personal friend of mine. So,
Neat.
yeah.
All right. This one's a personal favorite question of mine. In general, are you scouting your opponent every round and changing things up, or are you setting a defense for the week and kind of just letting it ride?
So I'm gonna say my scouting. I hardly scout.
Mhm.
I don't really go on swogo.gg or anything like that.
Mhm.
I think as of more recently as a creator, I'd say back in the day before I was a content creator, I would set the same defense for the whole week. But now that I feel like there's a couple more, eyes on me, people might be looking up my videos or trying to see if they can get somewhat of an advantage. I'll try to throw in like a random loophole or a random thing in the back or change it up on them that try to make it unpredictable. Like the last couple weeks, I would randomly throw in Kenobi on defense in the back wall, or I'll throw a Leia on defense in the back wall, and it actually got me holds, or JML in the back. Change up my strategy. Like, okay, Lord Vader clones, I got to take him out. What am I going to do? Am I going to bring in Leia or JML? So I'll swap rounds. I'll be like, okay, I'll put that team on defense in the back, use the other team on offense for Lord Vader. So I'd say, as of recently, each round I'm changing it up a bit to make it less predictable for my opponents.
Yes, but not based on scouting your opponent, just taking a look at what you've been doing and just rotating things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
That makes sense.
You get the hard classic where they move to hard counter what you did in the last match, even though like none of that shit was in scouting data. And literally the only way they could have noticed if they looked at your VOD. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like Vex said, and I'm sure you do this enough on your own, Fatal. I expect to be watched. That's kind of the point. So that's fine. And so I change things up in the sense that, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll just, if I really like it as a defense, I'll just rotate it to a different spot. But rarely, very rarely will I serve up something that looks exactly the same. Yeah. Guys, other questions here for Vex. We had a reasonable list, and I just want to make sure you're all covered. Anything else you want to throw at him before we move into the next segment?
Yeah. I like this question personally to people who say GAC is their favorite game mode. What's your second favorite game mode?
It's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, I guess I'm gonna say Conquest. And I know that's controversial, but like TB is a grind. It's just a mega grind. The raid was absolutely no for me with Naboo, but as of right now, I'm enjoying the Order 66 raid because it only takes me 15 to 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. So the raid is growing on me, and I'm already at I think 14.7 personal box, and it takes me really quick. So but I do like Conquest because I do also like do these cheese types of videos. So anything where I can like help players or figure out a way to get a 3-star Gear 7 CX2 to work on 10 Order 66, get 10 Order 66 on Sector 5. Like I enjoy that stuff. Trying to figure out mechanics of cheesing them, not making us go out all out on these characters to get the feat. So I'd probably say Conquest just for that aspect to try to come up with cool strategies.
I love that answer. Conquest is probably my favorite game mode right now.
Yeah, no, it could be fun. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, I got one.
Sorry,
from a
I
friend.
realized I was muted there. Yes, please go ahead, TJ.
Sorry, asking for a friend. So I seen you face one of the guys in the plotting and scheming. So when we face again, how will you let me win but make it look good? So asking is one of the questions. I just want to look at that. It's one of the questions on there.
This is good. This is good. Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm probably gonna set every focus Datacron on defense and just see what we can do.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you're gonna set the cron that's focused and do it and make me fight them. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous thoughts.
I don't know. I always thought like if we faced again, what would I try to do different? I don't know. I've faced Playbook twice now. We're 1-1. I don't know if he knows that.
Oh no shit! I didn't know that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I do know, but you did catch me at one point where I was like,
I don't
not
think you were
quitting the game, but I was like,
I don't think you were trying, to be honest. Someone said you weren't trying.
I was heavily disenfranchised with the meta. It was fucking rough out here.
Oh,
I'm not making an excuse, but I didn't give you my best.
Yeah, I remember the period.
Oh yeah, I wasn't here, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Just fucking pouting. Don't worry about it. It's not a phase, Mom. Okay.
Mind you, not the guy on the green screen.
So you have, if you didn't have the headphones on, Fatal, I'd ask you to do like the hair toss at the end of that.
Yeah.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Right? Throw it out of my eyes.
Yeah. I just want to say that this is not really a question for Vex, but I do appreciate bringing on somebody who has a really nice hairline. The rest of us they've all gone to shit.
It's grim out here. Grim times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even great over here.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing hats off. I'm sorry, I don't have a ball cap.
This takes time.
Yeah.
Any other questions, gentlemen, for Vex? All right. Going once, going twice. It's time for the next segment. All right, week one. Traditionally, here in the preview, Vex, we're going to talk about our preparations for the season. So, mods that you were working on, looking to get on certain characters, goals of that kind, relics applied. Any Datacrons that you wanted to tune up from set 22. Just anything else you were looking to shore up going into this first week. So I'll go first, and anybody else can chime in after me. But yeah, I've been trying to push Rey a little further. I want to stay at 240,000 health, and I've had her about 12.6. She's still at 12.6 right now. She actually was 1599 in a slightly different configuration, but she has some speed that I can work with and slice away to try and push that offense higher. So that's one thing. Looking through these other characters, not much has changed. Putting more offense onto DCT. I want to say I had him at about 11,000 special. He's at 11.7. I'm going to be satisfied when I get him to 12. That is having him in Protection Cross, Circle, with a crit damage triangle. So trying to have him be a little survivable. Aside from that, Datacrons, yes. Wanted to pick up, obviously, more defense, so re-rolling the level 9s that I do get. Targeting some more light side this time. I needed only a couple more of these dark side with the potency tenacity up level 3. I did get them, so I'm mostly okay there. But it's a lot of light side crons that I'm going to be missing when set 21 expires. So I'm just trying to make sure that I've got enough coverage for light side. Probably mostly bulk level 3s, stacking defense unless otherwise noted. Yeah, and I also pumped a couple levels more into this Jawa cron. I don't know if I'm going to do the 15. I could. I don't think I'm actually going to set the Jawa team, but since I was already level 11, I also wanted to pick up these last couple stats, and it didn't break the bank to go to 14, so there we are. Who's next?
I can go.
You guys are quiet.
Yeah, go back.
I'll go. So defense is going to be the obvious winner, whatever you're trying to do. So it's shocking to note that. Biggest one, other than that, though, honestly, is I think your winner is going to be Ezra. So I'm really trying to fine tune what I'm going to do with my Ezra.
Now, what do we mean by that? You going for a certain...
It's the same thing. It's pushing the speed check, the same thing we've all talked about.
Yeah.
I think where he's going to end up and what he's going to do is going to be the big winner for a lot of what we're going to see come this season. So that's my biggest one. It's like everything else feels falling in line. Obviously making sure the mothers are correct just in case, but 11 teams and then just making sure Datacrons are all aligned up. That's the big one for me right now.
Okay, so you haven't done any big tear-ups for remodding or anything. Most of your efforts this week have been Datacron focused.
Yeah, it stays with that. And then also, I'm going to take your note, Depa. making sure. I think there's going to be a lot of fun with the full superpower of the team coming in with Jocasta and everything else. I think that Depa damage is going to do pretty big numbers.
Okay.
Be it offense or defense. I don't know where it's going to. I'll wait for Fatal to do his thing and I'll just go copy him. But your modding was
I'm
phenomenal
not
for the
going to be
Depa.
playing that team this season. Are you kidding me? I will mod them. Although I didn't mod them in week 3 of 3v3, and let me tell you,
it's fair. But I would tell you, Fatal has or Taz has a Chef Kiss Depa that has some pretty big things. So it's like seeing what that can do, and I know she's gonna powerhouse. I think people are gonna go, it's like Jocasta, and then your Depa is gonna one shot your team, and you're gonna go, what happened to my team? It was supposed to be Jocasta.
Fair. And I'm sorry, Fatal, you were gonna say?
No, I was just saying I didn't mod them in week 3 of last week. Not on purpose, mind you. I wasn't being edgy, but
no, you're suffering from these outages. I mean, it has to be usage based, right?
No, it wasn't an outage. It was because I had the week 2 mods that didn't get played in the outage. I was just like, oh, let me load up week 2, and like I don't need to do anything. I'll just play with week 2 mods because I never actually got to try them. I loaded week 1 by accident, which is like it was fine. Like my week 1 mods were solid. I had a successful week, but it was just like, well, Mace isn't in the loadout, so sucks to suck, but also he sucks, so fucking who cares?
Very fair.
What about you, Vex? You mentioned you had some stuff you worked on.
Sure, Vex can step in. That's great.
So I guess I have a little bit of trauma from last round because the last round of the season I was facing a Mace, and this one battle cost me going 8-1, and it was a Mace Windu team with the defense to offense conversion. And when I tell you, I brought in Malgus, that Depa Balaba has enough critical chance to bypass that crit avoidance. They one-shot Revan, one-shot Bastila, almost got through my Malgus. I ended up pulling it out in the end with a 50 banner win, and I lost the Grand Arena by 4 points because of that one battle.
Wow.
So the defense to offense is something to think about with that team. I know the wordy one sounds interesting, but
the
I was
damage
really
reduction,
surprised.
I would think would be like maybe the default for defense, the damage reduction. But I really wasn't thinking about the defense to offense. That sounds hideous.
I was blown away. I didn't think I was going into it. I'm like, they're not going to hit that hard. The Kron had 200% defense, but I don't know how it works with the coding. Does the stats and the Datacrons defense convert to offense, or is it just the base?
I mean, I think
it should include the stats.
Yeah, the stats imparted by the Kron would be part of that calculation. Yes, because the stats from the Kron are applied essentially before the battle begins. Like the Datacron abilities execute after the stats have already been applied.
Makes sense. That's why she was hitting like a unit. I mean, I did Revan's AoE shock. She counterattacked and hit him for 250k. It was absurd.
I believe you.
Went right through the crit avoidance. So I'm trying to look for a Kron like that to play with. Maybe it has some potential on offense. So I'm definitely working on that. I have a bunch of spare Omicrons from all these Nightfall events. Being able to replay those is really nice. So I have a ton of Omicrons. I just put the one on Hondo. Hopefully that makes Balin on defense a little bit more scary with JML if someone brings JML. But also they have the Hermit Yoda Datacron, so I don't know if that's considered overkill. But that's currently what I'm currently working on. Datacrons, getting a good Mace one, and working on some Hondo stuff.
Okay.
If they do their Hodacron versus my Balin, that's like an absolute win.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. Like,
Exactly. It's over. It would be considered not. It wouldn't be equal.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I've just been building. Yeah, I've just been building crons. I went a little wider. So the way I do my Datacrons, especially for set one, with the first first new set, is I go wide, and I'll get like 12 to 20 crons, and I'll build the best level 3s that I have, and then I'll usually level half of them to level 5 or whatever, and then I end up with like 2 or 3 level 9s out of that. But this time, maybe I got unlucky with the level 3s or the stats, but man, so much health steal at levels 1 and 2 that I just went through so many crons. So I went really wide week 1, during the 3v3 conquest. So this time I have to really bulk up on the level 9s because I had like 12 or 13 level 9s and then another like 10 level 3s. Normally I have like closer to like 15 or 16 level 9s. So yeah, just kind of, and FDCs kind of throw a wrench in that too, just because how many resources they take. So just trying to rebuild to where I feel like I have enough crons to be competitive. And it is 5v5, so you need less, but you need, at least for me, I feel like in 5v5 your Datacrons matter a little bit more because you only use your best ones. So the however good your best Datacrons are, those are the ones you're going to be using the most. So it's mostly just trying to tune some of the poorer stats off of ones I already have that are good, and just trying to min-max a couple others. In 3v3, you mostly just need a ton of crons because you're pressed for just crons week 1, refining them week 2, and then week 3, you're just trying to work out what you need for the next season.
True. All right. Good stuff there. Sasha,
I
Fatal?
can jump
Go.
in. Yeah, sure. So I know I've mentioned it basically once a month here, but I take my my GAC off week pretty seriously, and that I thoroughly take it off. So what I end up doing though with it is I kind of prioritize optionality. I just resource gather and hoard, and because often with Datacron sets, just as Dagger said, and I very much pursue that path of I go wide very early on, so I'll have like a large array to choose from, and then I'll run my conquest battles, but I just basically hoard up the resources as I to make changes and tweaks, particularly after week 1. What I have in mind right now are a couple of things that I'll probably do. One is once we figure out a little bit more about the next Datacron set, having an understanding of how I'll backfill the dusting of like a very light side heavy set 21. Like I want to make sure, like, does my set 22 need to be a little more light side heavy in case, depending what we learn about set 23. And then I it's interesting Vex mentioned that 400% offense to defense, because I've tried that in other sets. I haven't quite had it work, but I do like that concept of it just surprisingly punching up. You put it as like just a nice RNG element. Like if they target right, you get a nasty surprise, and sometimes that's the what you just have to hope for on defense. So that's an interesting one. I also was thinking about trying to get one more of the long text Jedi Vanguard, because I think that's an interesting one, and in great part for a similar reason, in that they can ignore taunt. You put it on defense, and you just open up the possibility that the AI does something smart. So those, and then the only relics that I've applied have been those that I know are going to be like productive for like the Hondo GL that's coming out. So I took my OG Hondo to Relic 9 and got my Itano or whatever up. So that's really all I've done, but it's basically a lot of resource hoarding and creating optionality. How about you, Fatal?
I'm with you, man. The off week is to take off. If anything, I really kind of value just like I just need time away to hit the reset button so I can like flip out of 3v3 mode and then like, okay, lock is approaching, it's go time, like immerse in 5v5, get in that space, and then the cycle repeats. I don't really have any prep. All I can say is like, I know last season my Amidala squad was pretty successful, so like maybe looking to improve on that on defense.
And remind the folks at home, what's the concept behind this Queen team that you're looking to further improve on?
I just like it when people attack my Amidala squad and then lose, so I just generally try to promote that sort of behavior. No, I don't know.
But are you still rocking the high protection so that you're anti-saw? I remember some time ago you had crit avoidance arrows on the core 3, if not everybody. You still rocking the crit damage sets on your supports? What's cracking with the squad these days?
To be honest with you, I feel like I loosened the belt on them a lot going into the last few seasons, that like, if anything, I might just try to make their mods a little bit better again. Like, holistically, I would have told you like, oh yeah, I have a a lot of people on protection, like I'm all on protection, blah blah blah. Then I looked at the characters, and I was like, oh, I actually just kind of like said, fuck it, like, oh shit, I'm out of protection mods. Let's move Amidala over to health, and she was still getting holds to Saw, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, no, I really am just gonna do what I can to tighten the belt and be a pain in the ass to people. I got holds to Saw, I got holds to Bane, holds to Treya, holds to Riva. Yeah, she had a 55% hold rate last season, so
Really nice.
I would like that to continue, ideally.
And were you running that with the credit cron on defense or what?
Oh, no. I don't even think I would run it with Chronicron this season, to be honest. It just... this is not a diss on Chronicron. It's just, for my playstyle defensively, I do not like the idea of posting Chronicron naked on defense and being like, boy, I sure hope nothing bad happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, man. We've got Lightside Bulk happy and ready to go. Like,
and you're probably something with like really high crit damage then, because of the effort you go to have the crit damage sets.
I was gonna say Chronicron wasn't even there in the. I mean, you had the one choice when we walked into that season, so it wasn't even there in the prime.
It was technically available in the last week, but like
that's what I'm saying. But most people are going for that.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think the team has so much explosive power when you build it properly that you almost kind of don't. Like, Chronicron is almost just trading one thing for the other. And in fact, like, if I'm being real with you, I mean, it's not like if you run Chronicron, you have to focus on power damage. Like, you could still run crit damage Qui-Gon and attack it in both ways. But if I see some Amidala team with Chronicron and they're Qui-Gon shit, they don't have cam, like, they don't have that extra damage dealer. They're just like, haha, my pow's going to eat you. I'm just going to slam gas on that. And I don't really, like, infinite crit damage times 0 is still 0. Like, I'm still ignoring your protection ignore. So, like, what? Like, if you take a holistic approach that you can still cash in PAV value, maybe it matters. But, like, for Amidala versus Gas, like, if you get in a position where POW is taking a turn and Gas is toppled, the enemy is going to be terrified no matter whether your crit damage is, like, plus 300 or plus 10,000, right? Like, it's, I don't know. If we were in, like, infinite farmable support cron season, like, maybe it would be different, but I don't know, man. Like, it's the one weird concession of it being on an FTC now is, I don't remember the stat pool for set 16, but I wanted to say we had more creative control over how we comboed stats with the credit cron that, like, I think it's a real consideration. Like, you look at how good Hermit Yodacron is right now. You've got the defense, you got the health, you got the crit avoidance, you got the reactive shielding, and you got the damage boost on top. Where here it's like, I don't know, we got crit damage.
Yeah.
What do you mean you wanted more?
So then if you're going to continue this theme, you see yourself setting it with the Hodacron?
Oh no. I'm just gonna. I mean, I can screenshot when I post it. It's just.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to envision. I'm assuming it's a set 22 at the end.
Kind of related to that, Fatal. Like, how do you feel about the about GMY and R9? Because that just seemed like a really kind of natural fit potentially with Cam there, and is that still part of the equation for you?
I mean, like, I was running Cam Grandmaster Yoda with Yoda at R8 for like a good long forever. I mean, so functionally, Grandmaster Yoda and Master Qui-Gon are almost the exact same unit in terms of stat profile. Master Qui-Gon's like beefier, but Grandmaster Yoda is still like a very health-centric character. His protection is awful. Like, his health pool is huge. It's the weird thing where, like, yeah, like, the math is excellent if you want to give your Grandmaster Yoda R9. Like, it will be like applying multiple R8s to this character worth of, like, supports aren't tank level R9 gains, but they're pretty huge gains, and then that's going to keep ramping and incrementing on top. Yeah, any health gains like that are massive. That, like, yeah, it pays off well. I'm not going to say you, like, have to have it, but I never regretted it ever since I equipped it.
It makes 100k health with a crit damage triangle really doable.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, I would just say if you're really going to go in on GMY, just make sure that you have 2 dedicated sets farmed for him first, because it's you might have one farm for Qui-Gon, but you run into some sticker shock the moment that you try to equip 2 characters in that way, where, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not have the crit chance secondaries you were looking for, or at least like, right? Make sure your Datacron has crit chance if you're running short on crit chance secondaries. There's plenty of ways to cross that finish line, but just make sure the work is done.
Yeah,
Concerned about Great Mothers being fixed against Queen Amidala now. I feel now that that's patched, I think Great Mothers against Queen, unless they have a really fast echo, is pretty reliable. I mean, you Doom Paddle and Obi-Wan, you get the Blessed onto Morgan, Mass Swarm, and he's gone, and the damage is null and void. I feel like almost that for Queen Amidala this season with the support cron, her value on offense is incredible against Rey, Ahsoka, Jabba. Those seem to be pretty game-changing on offense. So, like, I get it. She seems to have, for me, I mean, the Saw counter is big. The Great Mother counter for me was my go-to for her for a long time. If they had a fast echo, it would stop it. So, what variant of Queen Amidala are you going to set on defense to try to stop those types of counters? And there's also Treya as well, but support cron might stop that.
I held against Treya already. Look, man, if you're a heavy defense player, like you could apply that argument to every single team in the game, and none of them will hold up.
that is 3s or 5s that it held to Treya. I'm just curious.
In
3s or 5s did it hold to Treya, or was it both?
He held everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I was just asking for clarification because I have not liked Treya in 3s very much. That
5s, and here was the victory too. So I'm not complaining. Not the like craziest quality squads, but it's got some body count.
I said a few months ago that QA was trending in the way of offense use over defensive use because of the ability to beat it. And this was before the Saw Cron even came out. And I feel like because people were beating it with Saw without the Cron, and I mean it was less reliable. With the Cron, it's kind of just LOL, okay, cool. But I think that people are starting to figure out exactly how good this Queen Amidala team is, and I think it only gets better in 5s. Like, yeah, the core of 3 is really good, but after taking like Fatal's template, I mean, I say template, what I did is I just peeked at his mods and I tried to replicate them the best I could on GMY and Qui-Gon. I'm only around 65% special crit chance on them, and I hope that that's good enough. I was really pushing for closer to like 70, but
60 is where I'm like happy at. So yeah, like 65 is
okay,
pretty good.
Fair. And so I really just wanted to have them just like super slappy. And I moved Pal over to a Prot Circle, which against Rey, so I found out the hard way against Rey that I should probably put him back into a Hell Circle and just eat my lumps versus a couple matchups because Ben almost one-shot him. And if I had been in the top 50, Ben would have one-shot him. So yeah,
that's just like that's the nature of holding teams on offense right now. Like Bad Batch especially is a squad where like protection is optimal, but like Great Mothers will punish you for going protection, and like Amidala. I don't think Amidala. I don't think Amidala squad's like, for Bad Batch, you're crit immune. So like if you have like Relic 5 stealth units, maybe POW like double AoE non-crit could like kill your characters. If you're like up there and you got light side Bulkron, I think you're living, but it's still like you kind of have to be thinking about whether you're on health or protection, more so in recent seasons than I feel like has ever really been happening in the past. Like you would always have like, oh, this has a riposte, but this is like kind of hitting everywhere, I feel like.
Will that team stop the new Bad Batch from beating Queen Amidala?
Depend. I don't know if I want to say this. People play Bad Batch in some very interesting ways. So I don't know how Bad Batch will perform in the hands of most people. I'm pretty confident that my Bad Batch squad would stop, but not like any team that's going to kill one team could just kill another team. Like
that's what I'm worried about. Queen Amidala's defensive viability. I feel like they're coming out with more and more to take her off of defense. But I see your point. I guess that about any team. I get it.
Yeah, that's why he's saying there's quite a few ifs here.
Like we're talking about like our Great Mother's going to win, sure, but we're talking about Great Mothers versus Ahsoka popularizing. You got to take the trade somewhere. That like. Yeah, that's the sort of mentality that leads to people holding like 45 teams for offense on a 15 size or 11 size board. It's like,
yeah, and I know Tass and I talk a lot about like efficacy. For example, like, is the trade of my queen being on defense better than the trade I'm going to make for it on offense? Like, if you're gonna beat Ahsoka with Ezra with your queen, and they're going to saw your queen if you put it on defense, like why would you post it? Like I understand the whole like you have to post something, but at a certain point, like you just have to like if this is trading up on offense, I'd rather set something else on defense, like an extra GL or almost anything at that point.
I think the value of Amidala in defense, ignoring everything else, is that a lot of people are very comfortable with the idea of what they think the average Amidala can do. And I mean, let me turn off latest season. Let me just look at my overall win rate. Yeah, I've got a 50% hold rate in 88 battles. I think a lot of people are just caught off guard by what a proper Amidala can do. That like, a lot of people thought that they could do some cute shit with gas cracks, and like, no man, like I've got a crit damage Grandmaster Yoda and Master Qui-Gon like ready for that. Like, you know, it could be the sort of thing that like as it becomes more known, people would give it proper respect. But I think in a lot of cases, there's a lot of people looking to not give it proper respect because they're looking elsewhere. That I mean, look, man, if you're looking at me to tell you that the season isn't going to be cheesy as shit, I'm not going to do that. The season's going to be god awful in that respect. I think there's way too much strong shit. So set 21 has to go before we can start having conversations again. I think. But
speaking of which, I do have your cron here up on screen that you use with your queen team. So that's set 21, light side bulk level 3. 36
set 21, whatever, man. You can build this in set 20. You can build this in set 22. For as far as I can tell, CJ is just going to keep printing light side bulk with crit damage and crit chance forever.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
Not stop. It's getting kind of there's
that
3
is
in a
the
row
forever.
now.
Yes, that is the forever.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth because I feel like you could build the same thing out of set 22. So nice though. Nice.
It's going to be as old as me with light side bulk is a known factor, and we'll just play with it from there, guys.
I will say though, to all everyone here and everyone listening, as someone who has just climbed back up to the top like 50-ish, the shit I was getting away with in the top 200 doesn't fly anymore. Like I was doing a lot of rancid shit to people for a while, in like the top 2 to 400, like. And I'm not just saying I was sitting on people because of my roster size, but yeah, there were things that people just were not comfortable beating, or it's like, oh, you're going to use gas cracks versus QA? Yeah, I'll just set it then. If you're going to be doing dumb shit like that, like, yeah, I'll just like let you lean into you dropping a battle, or just, you know, impaling yourself for an extra 6 banners, you know, like the last group I was in where I went 1 and 2, I was looking at what everybody used. I'm just like, man, they're averaging 56.4 banners on the ground. Like there's just fuck.
Yeah.
so yeah, like once I'm looking at that, it's like, man, what kind of tricky can I do? Anything tricky? And I'm looking at like, well, first off, they save everything, so they have all their bases covered, and they set nothing. So it's like, all right, I guess I get to use Sidious then. Cool. Like, but yeah, it's one of those things where I think mileage will vary depending on where you're at in GAC. Because I'm not disagreeing with you, Fatal. I think there are a lot of people really entrenched in the counters they want to use because, like, oh, this works for me, and then they leave off the most of the time part.
I mean,
right?
Just to be sure we're on the same page, though, gas cracks is actually like normally a pretty fucking good Amidala counter.
Yeah. It's reasonable.
Yes.
I've done it.
Yeah, it's generally a slam dunk in 5. So
I thought it was 90 or higher. I'm surprised it's losing.
Well,
like
that's why we
80%
talk about all these preconditions that Fatal's put into the team, because it does take a good bit of massaging to get that kind of result against gas cracks.
It's not it's not a result to apply everywhere. It's yes, it can go everywhere, but it's not going to touch Fatals because of other mechanics that are applied into the back end that make it to not do that.
I just remember the PTSD from the support cron era where I moved away from the gas cracks cron. Because when we had the support crons, I lost a couple of those. I'm just like, I am just going to like beat the brakes off this with Great Mothers or JMK or something. Like I'm just like done.
Yeah.
And I never revisited gas cracks. I'm sure it's back to being solid. I'm just saying I remember when that shit did not work. So yeah.
The other thing I'll add regarding like asking about Great Mothers against Amidala, there could be an X factor where like maybe Amidala with Krennicron is just kind of a nightmare for Great Mothers with like all the extra buff immunity spam that maybe I'm underrating. But frankly, my headspace on that is like I would be worried about opening something cheaper. Like I would be worried about Saw like taking advantage of not having the extra light side bulk in some cases. That I don't know if it's like safe, but if you're just looking for curveballs, maybe.
The only thing that makes me nervous about the support cron is that if Pow ever catches Spirit with Foresight down with the AoE,
yeah,
that
Doom.
does scare me a little bit. But that's about the only thing that scares me in that fight, I think, to Fatal's point. Maybe there's a wrench thrown in it additionally. I don't know.
What are the plans for the support cron if not with Queen or Jabba or something? Like, I don't think that Krennic is going to be anywhere near competitive where we are. I mean, I could be wrong there, but I don't see it making it the 5v5
It's
board.
not. It is not for the Krennic. It is in name alone. That is it. It is literally support, build it up, and send it on its way. But it anywhere where there's going to be a combo pack right now, a super set teams that are going to apply with that. I could think of 3 to 4 easy teams that'll love it, just based on the damage that'll apply and the amount that's going to go through.
I wonder if the trench team doesn't suck with it.
Right.
And I know the trench is like not a good team right now, but the support cron seems. I remember this team was actually good when support cron. I mean, I say good, but I would put quotes around it.
It was. I mean, that had its separatist factions. It had some more survivability stats associated with it too, and that's one of the things that concern. Like, because I like the idea of a trench squad. I mean, there are some high utility supports on there, but they don't like kind of back to the original. Why Fatal was saying like it's so vulnerable on defense. It's explosive on offense. It's got that 60% offense, but it's not really doing anything for you in terms of survivability. And it takes a little bit of time, not much, but a little bit of time to ramp. And before it does, you've got shitty trench being shitty trench. I suspect.
Well, I was more thinking of it on offense, but yes, to your point, yes, you're right. I don't think it's really postable in the year of our Lord 2025, even with the support cron. Like, imagine what you're taking off defense for trench.
Yeah,
it has to be better.
It is tough to justify trench right now, and I am enjoying trench on defense. Guys, I want to move us into our
Ahsoka. Sorry, I was going to say I've seen trench squads beating Ahsoka in GAC with the Dooku level 9.
Yeah,
I saw that too, which is why I wanted to try it with the support cron, especially if they're going to do dumb shit and like post the Watt variant in 5v5. I really want to try like the support cron with trench there. So we'll see if I have an opportunity or if I have the one downside to me going first a lot is that I don't really want to nut up when I go first. Right? But if I go second and you have a couple of drops, like I'm more than happy to like nut up and try like trench versus Ahsoka because it's like if this is my drop, I'm cool with that.
Makes sense. All right, I want to move us into our next topic because we've got a bunch of questions from the patrons today. A lot of enthusiasm surrounding this episode with you as our guest, Vex. So we'll have a good bit to get through. And that's why I want to talk about Set 22 Focus Datacrons. Now, clearly, for most of us, for probably most of the coming season, Slacker will be on defense. So I don't know if anybody has a curveball to throw at me there. Maybe you think you need to keep it for offense. If you've got a faster Slacker than theirs and you think that there's a strategic trade to be made. Although on this show, we are typically saying I can't really see why it would be an advantage to take Slacker off defense if you could do without, taking it off defense. So with all that said,
I do think that SOK will be far less oppressive on defense in 5s.
I think there's more that you can do against Slacker in 5s. Yeah, I mean, would I be crazy to say that JML? We could look at the limited data from the end of the last season, but I very much doubt people were trying so much. No thoughts on that?
I would have to look at the data, but in my head, JML would have a way better chance than in 3s for sure. JMK looks to be easier.
Let's see.
Honestly,
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, depending on what beats it, 2-manning your opponents will be way better banners. Again, in 5s, there's a bigger argument for 2-manning something because of the banner efficiency. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that if there is a cheaper, if we figure out a cheaper answer to SLK that's not like, JMK plus 5s kind of thing, or JML Super Friends. Like if we find a cheaper counter than those two things, I don't think it's unreasonable to pull it off defense in 2-man theirs, because that's gonna be better banners than what they're gonna do. Then anyways, I digress. I just think that there is a world where you do it, but there are certain conditions that would have to be met for me to justify it.
Well, I'll say this: the data.
One of those conditions.
Go ahead.
Sorry, really quick. I had to say I don't see myself taking it off of V, but if I did, like if I were to think about that hypothetical, it would almost certainly involve being absolutely like terrified of some, JMK, Cat, Ezra, JKL, HY, what I don't know, something, but with that Hoda Datacron. And I'm not there. I don't think it'll get there. But it would have to have like such high offensive utility to make that trade worth it to swap it off D. Because I would go through all these different trade-offs to try and build a solid defense without it that would be painful in their own right. So unlikely, but that's the scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I'll pull it off. I'm just saying that I can foresee a series of scenarios where I could. I don't think it's one of those things where, you remember when like Great Mothers came out with Datacron? If you saved that for offense, you were actually dumb, kind of thing. There wasn't like a set of scenario. There wasn't a scenario I could see where you'd pull that, because it was just better than everything. And I don't think that
there's no real data to support pulling that cron unless it is the set it, make it their problem. I can't even. The only one I could see doing it would be hyper efficiency, maybe like a you can't say or something else. Other than that, I get through yours, you don't get through mine. We play checkbox. If I win, I win. We have 11 teams to deal with.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that SOKR is definitively head and shoulders above the next best team in 5s. Whereas I think he wasn't.
Take a look at this here. The data for the end of last season shows that things are few and far between that are going to work. You've got only a couple attempts with a couple variants of JML. But all of them are goose eggs. You have some partial success with Bane. When it works, you're getting a 64. JMK, when it works, you're looking at something like a 62 in the best case. That was using a set 21. Somebody had that. I'm trying to see if anybody.
I'm going to pull a Fatal here really quick, and I'm just going to say the player base is generally ass. No offense to you guys.
And it's a very limited data set. Also,
no offense, player base.
Yeah. And tellingly, with those JMK fights, and let me double check myself about the JMLs too. I wanted to say, I see. Okay, there's one Hodocron of JML wiping out. Sorry.
But the reason I say this is because week 1 versus SOK, people were at like 31% versus SOK.
Sure.
And then by week 3, with that 31% week 1, we were already up to like 75, which means people were in the high 80s.
Yeah.
My point is that we don't know what beats this. We won't know what beats this week 1. The data's going to look really bad. And then week 2, we're going to have an answer, and it'll just be improved on for week 3.
Here's my suspicion, because I remember this being the case from the end of the last 3v3 season. For folks that have a high armor penetration and high crit damage set 21 cron, they're probably going to be able to one-shot Slacker, because people were doing it here at the end of the last season. Reliability? I don't know, because the sample size from last 5 vs 5 shows it to be, in the 20s for a win rate, almost a little under 25% win rate. But to Dagger's point, there's maybe a lot of people attempting this that don't have quite the right, tools.
No, what I'm saying is the sketchiness of Bane versus SOK in 3s makes me think that it's not going to translate.
I also want to comment, you're not taking into account, this was people just throwing their SOK as is, their other stuff as is on defense. And we've now gone through a season of 3s and everything else. And we've talked about it a lot. And I'll say anywhere at our thing, there's going to be tweaking to your team to improve. We've talked about the Dre with the bigger damage, stuff like that. Now we're talking about having 5 characters that have to go while she's doing her craziness or whatever else it is. So it's like, don't call it a 1-to-1. So I guess to Dagger's point and stuff like that, what we're looking at is us just getting the cron but it's us getting the crown with people just throwing their team on and saying, "Hey, come at me." Now we're talking about somebody who is actually working on their team to set it up. So higher defense on your tanks, bigger damage or other tweaks to your Dre, other things on your SLK. Because you talked about the same thing. So if you're throwing all this together, that's going to put a damper on the fight from the data that we're seeing versus what it's going to be now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess what I'm saying is I have faith in the player base by week 3 to have a solution.
Oh, I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
But I also think are you willing to do, like, for example, what my guy did for week 3 of threes? I'm going to turn this into the 2-shot on this team, and then the only counter, which would be, let's say, JMK with Datacron or something like that. And that's now on defense, because I know that'll be another topic of, and this is where I'm going to set you. I'm going to let you go first. For example, you get the 2 drops or something like that. I'll take my 1 gimme drop, and then I'll go clean sweep everything else, and then I win.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree. If you go second, you get a lot of latitude on how to handle SOK. But I just think that the board, and we've talked about this a lot, but I feel like you're posting 11 teams, and I don't feel like we're gonna see a lot of drops this season. I think that there is a fair amount of defensive viability. I just think the congestion among the top 20-ish teams is just really close. I think that, like we mentioned this earlier, where if X doesn't beat this, then Y will, and it's like if I use X here, then I can use Y here, and I still have Z available for this because they all beat the same shit, kind of deal. Like I think we just have a lot of interchangeable attack options, mostly enabled by Datacrons, which I'm with Fatal. I'm going to be happy to see this set go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just because we'll get in set 23 of light side bulk, so it'll be fine. You'll be fine, Dagger. Don't worry. We'll see it next week too.
We're gonna get light side bulk with crit
Yeah,
chance and crit
don't think it's going
in
anywhere.
set
We're just gonna get
23.
this. They're gonna just change one stat on it, and it's gonna have something else.
So, I mean, the slacker, the Dracron on defense is pretty obvious, I think. This JMK Cat Exile Ezra thing we saw at the end of last 3 versus 3. I know we spoke in the week 3 wrap up for last season that didn't really see a lot of likelihood of trying to make a similar composition work in 5 versus 5. Are we all still feeling that? And what are your thoughts on that, Bex? You have some aspirations with JMK Exile Ezra, or I don't know, Ray Exile Ezra? Any of those permutations we kind of saw in 3 versus 3?
I guess it depends on like my plan of attack, because I always like to coordinate a game plan of how I'm going to approach certain teams. So as long as I can accomplish what I want to do against those teams, then yes. The big question for me this season is going to be Ahsoka is my most difficult GL to figure out, in my opinion, because on defense, I feel like her viability is gone unless she has a very specific setup to stop those off-meta counters. So obviously there's Bo-Katan if you don't set Ezra. There's Great Mothers. There's now this weird Jedi Knight Revan lineup. If the bonus protection, you have Callie hit under her, she goes down quickly. So I need to figure out what I want to do with Ahsoka, whether she's going to be better for me on offense for some value and efficiency, or do I want to just use her for, eat up a certain counter that will stop another team or something like that. But like, I was thinking last season putting her with Barris, trying to do some sort of timeout mechanic, but it's easily taken out by Bane. So I think the hardest thing for me to figure out right now that I'm going to be, figuring out this weekend is what I want to do with Barris, what I want to do with Ezra. Do I want to try to make a super raid team? Do I just say, screw it, Ahsoka's going to the side, just not worthy of a defensive viable team at the moment? Do I want to make Ahsoka with the Jawa level 3 and stop those certain counters? I have to figure that out. But that to me is going to be the toughest thing in terms of defense. But I don't know how it's going to be in terms of a defensive meta. Obviously, the Dark Side Raycron is obviously the best thing at the moment. But if we have JMK as a solid counter with Hermit Yoda, then that'll be labeled for that this season. So I'd be yeah.
Follow up. Do you find it difficult to like free up the Heracron? Because I don't find it difficult to free up the Heracron. And let me just say that I don't view Ahsoka without Ezra as being like a real team. So I would much rather find a way for Rey to just be, not shit, or figure out a way to be clever with Rey than figure out a way to be clever with Ahsoka, just because, like you said, if Ezra's not there, there's a litany of things to beat it. And if you put like the Heracron on there, it all of a sudden legislates or boxes out a couple of the cheaper counters immediately. So I was curious to your thoughts. Do you find yourself struggling to free up those crons? Is that one of the reasons why you don't want to do it?
With the Lord Vader Apocrons, I find bringing the Heracron with Leia to be helpful, getting out ahead. I find whenever I bring the Heracron with Leia, I don't lose that counter.
Have you tried Rey?
Rey against
Or Vader?
I have not. I typically like to keep Rey as a defensive staple. Only last season I brought her on offense to see if I can. She was my backup plan if my Bane and Malik didn't work against SOKR. So that 3v3 was different because like there are certain counters that if it just didn't work for you, the run could end. So if Bane Malik didn't work for me the last 2 matches, I was done because I risked putting JMK in the back. So it's like these gamble picks you got to try to see if they pay off. I typically like to have some sort of plan B. It doesn't always work out like that. But for me, it's figuring out the most efficient way to use the Datacrons. Like, so I remember someone in my Discord made the argument that Barriss with Rey is wasted because you're typically going to use the same exact things against Rey to defeat Barriss, and might as well putting Barriss to another lower end team that forces a stronger team against that. I just don't
think Barriss had a place in threes. I think it was really hard to find like a place where she actually mattered. So I will say that as well.
Yeah. But for me, I just want to figure out, I want to try to make my opponent use certain counters to stop them in the back. So if I'm putting Ahsoka, Ezra in the front, maybe that makes them use Sith Eternal Bane, or forces them to use Leia, and now they're down a team for my Lord Vader team in the back, or something like that. That's kind of like my mentality.
Yeah.
I want to try to force my opponents to use these certain counters and comms.
That's fair.
I think we'll be
that's
seeing.
What I'm kind of curious about, because I think Rey is a lot easier to be modular with than Ahsoka is. And I just don't know what Ahsoka beats without Ezra on offense either. So like pocketing it doesn't feel like it does anything. And I feel like I just want to get some amount of leverage out of my GL. Rey can 3 or 4 man Lord Vader on offense, and I think that's more than reasonable. It lets you flex Leia on the defense, lets you do some creative things there. I mean, I'm with you. I'm just trying to figure out how to like formulate a board where I feel comfortable setting every team that I put down.
Well, the shackles are off in 5 versus 5 for Xeris, right? Now Xeris can be supreme on Rey, however else you want to use. But yeah,
I think on Rey it's going to be a little lackluster because generally things if you're putting Xeris on the team and you're not putting Ezra there, you're just going to lose the Star Killer or like Seer anyways. So I just don't know if that's worth it, so to speak.
Probably fair. Other set 22 defensive crons that you're excited about applying on defense. This is to the room. Anybody jump in? Anything else that you've been cooking up, thinking up? I mean,
maybe getting a meaningful Gungan level 9, getting to use the Xeris Cron. Both of those things seem good.
Oh, actually, that is true. I don't know that this is real or serious at all, but there's maybe some potential to just try posting Gungans on defense just to be a total pain in the ass with like probably stun 6, probably the Terminator removal on Phalanx 9. It's just gonna lose to some janky shit anyway, but at least it sounds kind of funny. Just total chaos team.
I'm not a believer in the Tarpos level 9. I just don't think it's all that good.
No, I said Phalanx.
No, I'm saying that's interesting because I didn't think that hard about Phalanx, but I do have one. So that might be something I try because that does sound just like thoroughly annoying.
Yeah. His taunt comes off really easy in the fight, and then he refreshes it shortly thereafter. So I could see that being a huge pain. Also,
and one of the most frustrating things is going against Gungans and then thinking it's going to finally be your turn, and then everybody loses turn meter. So I've got that too, and thinking that it's more maybe like just a little needle you want somebody to sit on, or but
put it in front of Fleet, just like make it a little problem at the end where they're just like maybe just a little annoyed at the end of their They're already frustrated by their guy. Just gonna know him a little bit more.
Or
Is anybody
sorry, go ahead.
No, is anybody watching World Series of Poker right now?
No.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna. There's a player named Kasuf who's annoying as shit. And I was gonna say this is your Kasuf. You just throw it on front wall so they have to deal with it early and then go on tilt.
I was actually just thinking, with the stun 6, I don't think you're going to hazard BKM. So one of the other, I mean, feel free to jump in with any other reliable, relatively budget things. I know Great Mothers can beat it, but that would be a huge overkill in my view. I think something that's quote unquote more appropriate would be JML. Because so long as
Treya.
sure Treya works well,
Treya,
I guess.
Mol Mandos, Mon
Let's go just be
Mothma,
Treya, man.
Yeah,
They're
Mon
not
Mothma
gonna
probably
play with
doesn't
it.
care.
Mon Mothma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
JKR doesn't care.
I can see the Mon Mothmas.
You need Luthen though,
Um,
right? That takes Luthen away from Assault Team, right?
I don't. Yeah,
True.
but if you're holding,
I think you do.
Yeah, but if you're holding the team for offense and you've already gotten through I mean, if it's in the front wall, that's different. But if you've already opened the front wall and you don't see a place to use your Saw or Sawcron, I've absolutely made the decision to use Mon Mothma, being like, oh, there's nothing I can really Saw here, so let me just like use my Luthen somewhere where it's actually like, I don't want to say useful, but actually get some use out of my Omi, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I do agree that it does take it away from Saw, so I just don't think you're posting Saw as long as the Dad Bod Cron's around, and if you're holding it, you're looking for specific matchups you can take advantage of. I am a little worried about Afra on defense with the Saw Cron running around a little bit, though. That does worry me slightly.
I might still hazard it. But, all this discussion about the Gungan Cron, I actually do think that with as many options as you could take against it, but all of them have to be relatively good, probably up top then. Make that flexibility work against them when they have much fewer options to match. Okay, yeah, appreciate that, Fail. How about the rest of you guys? Any other crons that you're really looking forward to testing on defense? Something that you've been thinking on?
On defense, I know we have the Temple Guard crowd, but I still like the long text with the Ayla level 9. Still seems like a lot of fun. The assist and the call because you get the full team going together.
With a high defense stat profile, or what? What are you cooking with that?
Yeah, it'd still be you're still going to spec it correctly for everything you're doing, but the bulk with the defense setup and then bypassing the taunt, and then again the monster depa, I think that's a scary proposition to offset what's going on. And when you can't hide behind a tank, you have to take something respectful. You don't just get to take nothing.
Sure.
I will probably post that week 1. I just don't. I understand it's a 5s team, like it's not a 3s team, but it did disappoint me in 3s. I don't have high hopes for it in 5s, but I do agree I'll probably post it week 1. Just figure out what people.
Actually, had a lot of fun with it on offense. I swapped it up, and on offense, I was pulling my 57s where I needed to go. It felt cool, but I agree. It's like I know you want more, and I agree with the point that you're just like you did the legendary works. I would want it to be like. Ooh, and it's like, no, I'll just go Malgus and you still get to move on. But again, I know Vex said he had the setup.
My thought process is simply this. I don't really have a lot of use for essentially an offense-only team. So I want there to be more defensive viability in this team because I want it to be one of those things where I can post it if I don't have a plan for it, as opposed to, oh, they're just going to run this shit over with like Imperial Troopers or something super cheap. So I guess I just have to hold it, and everyone else is going to also have to hold it. You know how like BKM has been for like the last couple months, where people are just starting to set it now because, whatever the cheap things that used to kill it just don't really kill it as much with the bulk and all that. But yeah.
Okay, guys, appreciate that. Any other questions that you guys wanted to ask among us here in the panel? Just wanted to give you the chance.
I'm a little sad you didn't ask Bonja's question.
No. We Patron Questions is the next segment.
Yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not wrapping us up. I'm wrapping up the segment.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Anything else on your mind before we move on?
Mine is to Sasha. Sasha, if I face you, are you going to do any cheeky shenanigans of your damn BS Phoenix holding against my Tuskens again?
Yeah.
You're never letting me down, sir. Ever. You'll never live it down.
If I face you, TJ, I will absolutely do something to screw you over, and it'll be
Son of
hidden
a
in the
bitch.
back wall. So I yes, but it's
Bastard,
nothing you
I'm
didn't
telling you,
know.
I'm gonna make it work
Just know
this
it's
time.
coming.
Now we have potency. Now you're over.
All right.
All right,
No,
guys.
I do have a question for TJ. Will you go 1 and 2 week 1 so we can fight week 2?
To be held. I'll go the 5th because I am the best at kicking my own ass. So as everybody knows, I am the meme of liar liar and Jim Carrey kicking my own ass. So will I
60
try
points
to?
behind
No,
you.
I won't try. Will I do it? Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
So
I'm like
where I'm
65
at, it's gonna be.
yeah. I'm like 65 points behind you. I want to
Yeah.
make this happen.
I agree, man. Don't worry. Swiggle and GAC, they do that.
There
good
is a
for me.
convergence coming. It's pretty cool. It just feels like there's a little more concentration, a little more proximity to everybody. Hopefully, we'll get some pretty cool matches out of this.
Yeah, nice.
We've got to have Fatal kick it into gear and try for just long enough, and then we'll suffer his defenses.
Brother, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
I've got a couple months left of
This is not a climb season. This is a please
I
God get
know,
me out.
I know.
and I've got a month or two left of being able to actually give a lot of attention to GAC. So, well,
I'm
we'll
trying
see
to be
how
like
Dagger
that,
ain't-
man. I
Dagger
just
ain't
want to grow
coming.
up one day. I just want to grow
Yeah.
up one day, be big and strong like Task, so I can get Erodiums. The more Erodiums, so it's like
right.
you too can earn this, and then
That's
that way
right.
I can start up a streaming channel where I get other people to come on because I lost my match and have to face more Erodiums. I don't know how to do it. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Mhm.
I'm trying
Yeah,
real hard.
One
That's
day
what I'm
you'll be
going
good
for, though,
enough to
TJ,
fight
is not
Erodiums
to-
like
is-
me.
I need
It's
to
like
climb.
I
high
feel like
enough
he's giving me
to-
a picture of you two. He could be like this. He's gonna be Uncle Sam, but him with this hat doing the same thing. Can fight Erodiums.
That's right.
I need to climb high enough to get some Erodium, so when I have to take days off, it doesn't hurt as bad.
There you
Right?
go. There's a system.
That's my goal, because my actual goal is to get into like the top 30, top 25, top 30 by the end of my availability period this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get busy again, just be able to kind of just hang in the top 50 because I get to fight in Erodium every once in a while.
All right. It's time. Let's dig into the patron questions because we've got a ton of them. I'll start right at the top here from I Am Arj. Are you expecting Slacker to be more difficult to beat in 5s than it was in 3s? I think we more or less spoke to that, saying that if anything, we'll probably have a couple more options, 5s and 3s. Any hot takes there?
And with the board being smaller, you have more availability to zerg the team down, so to speak. You don't have to be like, oh, I have to hold this for this and this for this and this for this. You do have even more extra teams, full teams, where if your first one fails, you're likely to kill a couple at least, and then you can kind of just burn it down from there a lot easier. So,
Yeah, different. I think is the answer. Not
The only thing I'll say with the Slacker Dre thing, and I remember this was my last match of the last 5s, is you can get stuck behind that Dre, that clause in there that says you can't kill anybody, any of the first order characters until the last of your characters have gone. And I remember Aesop had this against mine, and he ran into he had it almost virtually dead. But the problem was mine was TM loaded, and when he came to try and clean up, and his entire squads just kept melting because that first order squad does so damn much damage that his slowest character was not getting to go, and so it can be tricky to clean up.
yeah, I'm going to be speeding my 5s up to 275 for this season just to be as safe as possible.
That's pretty fast, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I care a little bit less about his bulk as long as I'm using the Hodacron, because I feel like I'll be less. I feel like in 5s it's gonna be more critical because if you miss that window, it's gonna be you're gonna lose a lot faster if you miss that window. Because Dre's gonna be taking more turns because there's more characters. I feel like if you miss that window, you're not gonna survive another 5 Dre turns.
I can see it. All right. Next one from Arj here. Where do you guys think the best usage will be for Exile Ezra in 5 vs 5? And I think we more or less covered this in the sense that if you're taking Exile Ezra away from Ahsoka Tano, you have a pretty dubious case to keep her on defense. You probably could just pull her off of defense and use her to overkill something.
I don't even know if she overkills anything on the board currently. Like without Ezra?
Overkill something that requires a GL to overkill. DRZ, bad, a new bad badge,
DRZ
stuff
was
like that.
just in fives.
What's that? Sure, yeah,
DRZ
okay,
doesn't-
fine. But all right, fine. Yes, fair. My brain is still engaged into 3 versus 3. That is my fault. But what I am saying is like just bad batch
Congratulations
then.
to a
Bad
Qui-Gon
batch then, for example. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like congratulations, here's your Qui-Gon counter.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you guys say to that? If where do you see your Exile Ezra? And if so, if not with Ahsoka, how does that affect your Ahsoka?
So I've got a plan week 1 for mine, and I'm going to tell you that I still think Ezra's going to be the most key piece to everything that happens this season. That's what I'm kind of calling right now. Depending on how it ends up, what your Ezra does or where he ends up, on what it's going to be, because it's going to be something defensive. I honestly I don't believe it's going to be SLK that's the biggest mitigator this season. I think it's going to be Ezra.
Ezra will be on my bottom front wall. It's just a matter of who will be on Ezra's team. Right, because that's really
plan on using him on 3 different squads throughout the season. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
Ahsoka, gonna try Rey, and we'll probably try JML once and see how it goes.
Yeah,
Maybe throw in the weird, crazy off meta stuff or something.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, Ezra will be down. Who knows with what?
Yeah, I think it's probably the biggest piece to play, and I may even look at like kind of preying on some of the anxiety out of 3s and just drop it with a JMK, even though I can see reasons that's really suboptimal. And yeah, it creates, going back to what Vex said, like what are we going to do with our Ahsoka? And it's a little sad that she may have fallen to the point where like her highest value is she's going to pull great mothers from somebody. It's like it's gotten to that point where it's so like can just presume that great mothers is going to steamroll it, and then maybe I can do something behind that where
Don't
it's
worry,
like
CG's going to
really
come out
wish
with
you
a
had it.
clone team that's going to help your Vader. So they'll
Yeah.
do it for your Ahsoka too. That way you can
There-
play
there-
Ezra
there we
somewhere
go.
else. Spectre
Yeah,
2.0
you're
is
right.
coming, guys.
This
Whatever the problem is, they'll sell us a solution, I'm sure.
This just stems from a frustration of mine that I have with CG, where when they want to make really good characters, they do make really good characters, but they overshoot so frequently with their good characters. Remember Hux, they had to nerf. Like every time they want to create a plug and play character, and they said that they wanted Ezra to be a plug and play character. Every time they say they want to do that, they overshoot. It feels like that.
It is. I mean, to their credit, though, like I'm, and I know you've mentioned before that you admire like the kits that they come out, and so I'm so impressed, and particularly across this like complexity of this huge like history of kits we've got. Like they're dropping these things into like a universe that's got a few hundred different characters out there. There are all these sort of like risks they're navigating. I'm pretty impressed with what they do. But I get frustrated, when a GL that like was supposed to be the latest and hottest thing, doesn't have its niche.
Doesn't even have a resource event.
Don't be
Yeah.
frustrated. You have pirates.
Yeah,
You're
like,
fine.
like that's the thing. Like, Jabba's a little disappointing, but Smuggler's Run 2 always feels good. And if Hondo ever starts feeling disappointing, he'll have Smuggler's Run 3.
Yeah.
With Ahsoka, when you pull Ezra off, it's like, man, she's disappointing, and I don't have a resource event.
Is it a problem that Ezra is plug and play, or is it a problem that there are so few defense teams right now that Ezra is just kind of playing whack-a-mole of like, all these teams kind of suck, so I'll just pick one, I guess.
And just bump.
Yeah,
think
we
it's
have one
probably-
last thread there.
Yeah, I think it's a combination, but once you pull one string, like the rest of them start to like unravel. So I think it's a combination. I do think you're right, though.
Rey got Ben solo, and like nothing changed. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if nothing changed.
Well, it's just I think we all take his meaning. The point is that once you learned what was being added into the fight, it was getting managed by the same teams that you were using anyway.
Yeah, no, that's correct. No, that's true. That's true.
I was using Starkiller before, and I was using Starkiller after. I don't know.
I think Ben definitely boosted Rey's offensive viability. Not that people use her on offense, but as somebody who saved her all last 3v3, was very impressed with her ability to just efficiently remove game pieces from the board.
When you hear GL lifter, do you want the elevator pitch to be, oh, well, it'll make the GL better on offense?
No, I don't. But what I'm saying is that before Ben, Ray on offense was dog shit. And at least with Ben, like you have this whack-a-mole thing where the AI just targets the weakest person. So as soon as Ben gets into the red, as long as your Ray doesn't get into the yellow, they just sit there and just beat on Ezra or beat on Ben.
Can I just ask for just the coin defensive lifter? Does it have to be GL based? I get they wanted to colonize it or they wanted to break it down to these thresholds, but I'd rather just see give me defensive lifter. And that's what Ezra became as a defensive lifter generally, right? Because there's nothing better in my opinion. He's the cream of the crop for what they did to make it a defensive team. You put him anywhere, that's why he's the key character, one of the key characters. Fatal, you said it from day one. That's like this is the dude, one of the top guys. That is what I would love to see is them coining the term defensive lifter. This put it on any team. It'll make it go better.
Yeah. You find Jocasta new a defensive lifter for Mace?
Maybe. I think that there's a bug with her right now that allows you to just kind of have her die a lot quicker. I forget what it was, but Tass and I were talking about how there's like a sequence of events where she doesn't take her bonus turn. She just dies.
Now, if you hit her with Malgus's big hit, she doesn't do her blow up. I've experienced that multiple times.
That's what I mean. Like, I think if they fix the bug, there might be something there. But until then, it's going to be hard to tell. Because I know if she's anything like that assault battle or the air battle we had to do, that thing hits for a ton of damage.
She sliced open that box and you were just sad. It's like, oh, man, I didn't make it.
Yeah, I really want Mace to be defensively viable to the point where it holds to Riva and Malgus.
I'm going to be using Zori on that shit until well... So the handcuff goes on weakest, so I can't necessarily nib it weakest, so I guess I'll just have to use one of the other easy methods to go first over a Mace squad. Damn. I'm mildly inconvenienced.
Right? You can't use your Finn Zori, you son of a bitch.
Oh no, I'm still going to use Finn Zori. I'm just not going to use Datacron. Are you kidding me? Those handcuffs are going on OG Finn. Like, what the fuck? This team is fake as shit.
Both fighting on Finn incoming.
All right, let's move to the next question, folks. This one's from Stryker. This is Jedi Vanguard.
I demanded you read Bonja's question. By the way, we're not there yet, but I require you to read it.
This is Jedi Vanguard's first outing in 5 vs. 5, and they have their Datacron. Are you expecting the Temple Guard Cron to be the default, or will there be some variance with potential inclusion of Ayla level 9? If that's the case, which level 6 is better for offense and for defense? So I think for most of our conversation surrounding that team, most of us were thinking to use one of the Jedi Vanguard Crons that was not Temple Guard. I think if I was going to use one that wasn't Temple Guard, it probably would be like what TJ was suggesting with the Ayla level 9. As far as the 6 goes, honestly, I was thinking about the damage reduction, but I am a little curious about trying the defense to offense conversion.
Yeah.
I think the defense to offense conversion, here's what I think. This is what kind of jumps out at me. If I had a Cron that was, an Ayla Cron that was set up with a lot of crit damage on it, then maybe I would do the damage reduction level 6. But if it is a very high defense Cron, then why not do the defense to offense conversion?
I will say this. From the limited amount of times I've used, maybe a dozen times I've used this team in Arena versus various things, the amount of damage they put out just melts the opposing team between Shatterpoint and all the assists. I don't think that you want to make the team easier to actually kill, because I think the strength of this team is the fact that they can dead you so quickly already that you want the damage reduction just to make it so you can turn the corner faster. I'm not saying the defense and offense isn't good. It depends on what beats it consistently, and if that level 6 prohibits something super cheap.
I think this is one of the best cases for this Datacron set is that it can flex. It's got the biggest amount of different variances. So seeing what the person's going to be a tendency to want to use, it could be the Malgus thing that Vex talked about, and then the nightmare that happened for him. And then so the scenario is it was damage reduction last week, and all the Malgus worked this time, and then now it becomes the defense to offense, and all of a sudden it's gone. right?
Mhm.
This to me, Mace has one of the biggest abilities to flex what you're going to put on there. I think the team stays stable, but what you get to use as far as like defensive and offensive viability has a lot of moving parts to change the fight up.
Yeah, if Malgus becomes the default, turning your defense into offense against the team that like does a lot of true damage doesn't feel like an actual downside. So against
Just
Malgus or something like that, I can absolutely see using the defense into offense.
the
What were you gonna
damage
do? Ignore my defense anyways?
it just blew my mind, that damage from Depa
Yeah.
on that AoE. I mean, my Malgus was getting hit for 150k. He almost went down. I shouldn't have even won, to be honest.
Yeah.
I believe
No,
it.
I think that it's going to be very flexible, and we'll have more data after week 1. But I'm going to start with the damage reduction. We'll see where that leads. What do you think, Sasha?
Sorry, getting distracted on something work related. So pass me on this one.
All right.
All right. Well, we
I
can
said
move around to the next one if nobody else had any thoughts about that.
I would ask, does Barris have a place there with the Barriscron as a potential setup, and
I'm
then
going to
bringing folks
try
back around?
I'm going to try it week 1. I think the Barriscron offers an additional wrinkle.
You still get to play enough of the fight, so it's like enough of the things. So it's just if I ruined your plans, Dagger, I'm sorry, but it's like
No,
that's
you
what I
didn't.
mean by there's a lot of moving pieces to this team,
I just
and getting to see the full 5 together is going to have
I just
some
think the
weight.
Jocasta AI is ultimately replaceable until they fix the bug of her actually taking her bonus turn when she dies. Because every time I fought against the team in 3v3, she just never took her bonus turn on this AI. Cool. So until that gets fixed, I think I'm going to put Xeris in that spot. Mostly because I just don't feel like she adds a ton. I mean, she does with the actual Temple Guard Kron, but if I'm not using Temple Guard Kron, I don't know. I think I'd rather have Xeris. Fatal's going to tell me why I'm wrong, though, I'm sure.
Zeros over who?
Jocasta, because of her bug.
I don't know. Man. I don't respect the team period, so I don't really have an opinion on it.
She gets revived twice. Is she giving her team? Is that 200%
You hold them
offense?
in. Sorry, go ahead.
With the Vanguard level 6, the wordy one, if she revives twice, is that 200% offense gain, or is it just the one time? When she dies and there's active allies, they get revived, they get 100% turn meter in offense. But if you have the wordy Vanguard 6, healers and support revive again, so she comes back around. If she goes down again,
Yeah.
is that double the gain?
I should check her because there would be
I think the way
language
it's
that would
worded-
say like the first time
That's
she
it.
dies.
I think so. It says the first time Barisophia is defeated, if there is at least
Oh, is
one
that what it
active
says?
ally,
Is it the first
revive
time?
all other. Yeah, the first time, yes.
Okay, there it is. Never mind.
So what? Just to clarify, what are the conditions on which Jocasta doesn't get that revive? Like you're mentioning on a Malgus leap. Like, do we know,
I
or is
couldn't
it just
tell
a
you.
bug that's going to
Reva,
haphazardly?
Great Mothers, and Malgus all prevent it from happening. So I don't know what the condition is, but they all fulfill it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
until that gets fixed, I'm just not of the opinion that I want. If I'm using the Temple Guard Cron to speed her up with all the specials giving her TM, then sure, I'll have her down. Just because she'll actually get her big bonk off maybe a little earlier in the fight. But yeah, if I'm posting this, I'm putting it with Xeris in a damage reduction week 1 just to make it as difficult to kill as possible because I believe in the team's damage output, which could be just wrong. I don't know.
Fair. All right. Next one here from Banja. Yeah. So I'm just going to read this as a quote, and don't judge me for it, Vex. Whose cock did Vex gobble to get an invite? I.e., how did y'all connect? And has Dagger made any sexual advances yet?
The night is young.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
3:18
Well, I think
my time.
at the very start of the stream, I explained that I heard about him from him fighting TJ. So I don't know how many of you heard about him before TJ was fighting, but yeah.
I knew the name, but I didn't know he was a streamer or anything till he TJ, but I've heard people talk about him just in other chats,
Okay.
or read people talk about him in other chats.
Okay.
And Vex and I have apparently been on the same in-game like friends list for forever. But like I started right when you did, Vex. So I don't know when it goes back to. Like I don't know if you know.
I remember seeing your name. I'm not exaggerating. I don't see it right now. I checked before, but it was there for a while. It really was. I remember
Yeah.
seeing you on my friends' leaderboards, but the lore behind me and Banjo are on the same fleet arena shard. And
Oh,
so not bad, not bad. He helped me with one video once. He brought me into the direction of Profundity versus Leviathan with MK6. He's like, hey, you should probably make a video on this kind of thing. So I give him a shout out on that video.
Nice.
yeah, this is the only time I'll say this in public, but he's a pretty good friend and a pretty good dude.
He's a good player. He's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's good.
All right, the Lost Swamp Rat's coming in with the next question. What team is going to be the most annoying in 5 vs 5? Is it going to be LV Clones, Ray with some shenanigans, Wizard Mace, or Jaws with their Kron? Oh, Jawas.
Jawas.
Or is there some other team that you're looking forward to making strange stuff happen with?
Honestly, the most annoying teams for me are going to be the non-GL teams in the bottom front wall. Because I don't know what people are going to set, but they're all going to annoy me because I'm going to have to figure out what to do with them week one. And that's like the most... Round one, week one, the non-GL teams bottom front are the most annoying teams. That being said, I imagine that... I can't answer this now, but every season there's a team that annoys me because I either don't have a good counter for it ever, or I get caught out by it a couple of times, or mechanically I'm just not good versus them. They'll be a team. I just last season it was Tarkin Clones. I just was not good against that team.
Fair.
For me, it's got to be Balin with Hondo, Omicron, and Kira, because my two go-tos for them are really good right now with their focus Datacrons. I don't feel like using that value on them. My Gungans have never worked against Balin, ever. I also don't have all three Omicrons on them. So I got to figure out a different answer. Sidious is not going to work with the Omicron on Hondo. So I think Balin on defense for me, unless there's something I'm missing, is the biggest question for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Dadbud
Jabba.
might be your solution there, by the way.
Maybe Jabba.
Dadbud might be a solution there.
In 5v5?
What I see happening to myself is I'm going to get pissed off by like burning my like Boba Fett sign of Jango and Fennec Kron on a front wall or whatever, and I'm going to get stuck again. I always get pissed running into something that is a solved puzzle, but it was hidden in the back wall, and I spent my early solutions, and it's going to be like Saw or QA or something there that it's like I sure as hell should have known better. So I guess basically my worst enemy is myself on that shit. But like that's what I suspect I will get frustrated by. And in terms of like big looming menaces out there, I still think probably I think Slacker Dre is I think it'll have people have a high win rate, but if it goes wrong for one reason or another, I think it's still going to be pretty unforgiving in fives.
Yeah.
Fatal, how about you? Your thought on that? What do you think is the single most annoying team going to be on defense this season?
I don't think it's going to be any one single team for me. I think it's going to be just the overall friction of not wanting to yank any teams just to keep GAC fun, but also this season or set 22 just being a very top heavy experience that like yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I can like hold the line effectively or like what's going to have to give. But also a ton of it just depends on how much people are actually willing to post, because so few people actually do it these days that I don't know, man. For all I know, it's just going to be more what SLK, LV, Ray, and Prey type shit.
Yeah.
That
all right.
Maybe it'll just be that I won't have to figure stuff out after all.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I guess for my part, what am I thinking is going to be the most annoying? I think it's more going to be like what Dagger was describing, where I'm going to save the right resources for the main power teams, and then where I will be challenged is by people setting up the lesser choice teams bottom front. And I have to be really careful about how I thread the needle there, so I don't have the situation Sasha described. All right, next.
Yeah. Sasha basically nailed it for most of us. We will all do that, and we will all meet next week, and we will talk about how dumb we all are, and we'll move on.
Probably, yeah. All right, next question is from General Milan, and this one's specifically to Vexitron. Where are the most valuable investments for somebody punching up, given that you're quickly climbing into the top 50?
For me, I mean, I talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but it's getting the counters to the GLs or other teams that are not really out there or require certain types of modding and practice. So I think for me, like I said earlier, the Great Mother thing has been a huge game changer for me. That allows me to have to. Maybe I could put Leia on defense now because I can use Great Mothers against Ahsoka instead. So it's a combination of perfecting off meta counters, utilizing the Datacrons to their advantage. I know there's topics about the support cron, but I really think that being able to have a Queen Amidala team up and running with the support cron is very nice to have. I'm surprised we also haven't mentioned it either, but there's going to be the return of the droid nuke team in 5v5. I'm not sure how that will come into play around our neck of the woods. It could, but having that team available to you is also very nice. So it's getting those counters up and running, trying to be efficient with your counters. If you can stall the battle 2 minutes to turn a 62 into a 65, that in the end could make a huge difference for you. So I would say for punching up, try to perfect the off meta where you can, work on those mods, and if you can try to bring teams on offense that are better at the banner pinching or protection recovery to get those banners back and get the 65s. I think that's what's helped me the most punch up is that I try to win clean, not just get the W. So that's what I would recommend.
Just another tip from an efficiency perspective, not necessarily from a punching up perspective. Really weigh the flexible offense teams a little bit higher than the less flexible offense teams.
Agreed.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, next item here from Miasmo. According to the dictionary, a sandwich is 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between. So my question to you all, is a hot dog really just a sandwich? And also he asks, and also besides, what besides QA, what teams would you be curious about applying the super DC to? The support is what he meant to say, the support DC. So yes, from my point of view, a hot dog is technically a sandwich. You used the phrase just a sandwich. I don't know if I would say it's just a sandwich. Not every sandwich can be a perfect conveyor for dill relish, onions, and finely chopped onions. Not every sandwich is cut out for that job. So I wouldn't say just a sandwich, but yes, it's a sandwich. As far as that set 22 support Datacron, if it isn't going to be with the Queen team, then it might be something like trying it like with a DTMG team as a funky choice bottom front. I don't know. It would have to be kind of going around the idea that is this not just going to get stomped by Malgus or something else? I'd be thinking about that though. Probably something like DTMG. How about you guys? Got to answer both questions, by the way.
Yeah. So the answer to the first question is yes, I would consider it a sandwich, in the sense that cereal is also a soup, and if I see a chair, I know what a chair is, regardless if it has 1 leg, 3 legs, 4 legs, right? Like, yeah, it counts as a sandwich, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't say if somebody offered me a hot dog, I wouldn't say thanks for the sandwich, though. As far as the support cron, the DTMG is actually a good one. Another thing that beats Jabba. If you were planning to like post the Afra team. Another thing is if you can find another use for the Afra cron, Afra is actually not a terrible place to use that support cron as well. But yeah, I also like the trench idea. If you
yeah.
under the condition that you go first and spot me a drop, and you set Ahsoka without Ezra, under those conditions, I do want to try trench with the support cron versus Ahsoka.
Very good. Very good. Who's next with that one? Step forward and answer. TJ, how about you? Sandwiches. TJ, sandwiches, go.
Okay.
Well, Vex wanted to go, man. I'll let
Go.
Everybody's going to get their chance, but sometimes I have to crack the whip.
The only time TJ, no, this is the only time that TJ gets to be above Vexitron. So let's let TJ go first.
Yeah.
I don't know. He hurt my feelings, so now I don't want to go. So don't you feel dumb?
That's right.
And you can't tell me what to do. Vexitron can go first. He gets to win more against me, so Vexitron gets to go now. So you see what you did? You hurt my feelings. Now I'm not playing.
Look at him. Look at him. He actually looks misty. The son of a bitch.
I do. So sober. I'm so mad.
All right. Well, fine. Vex, you go. We'll come back around to TJ.
Do I think a hot dog's a sandwich? I don't think I've ever really thought about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to ask Joey Chestnut because he's the god at hot dogs. So I'll
Sure.
get back to you on that. I'm gonna stick with. I know you both answered yes, but I'm gonna go with no. I think it's a separate thing.
Okay.
I think it's a hot dog's a hot dog.
Okay.
But and then for the support cron, I know I mentioned it earlier. I think the droid nuke team is interesting. I think it was pretty fun to use, and if you have the modding right with Lobot and BB-8 and Shorty, that it could probably maybe do something this season. Maybe it could be an annoying team on defense. I don't know, but it could definitely do a lot on offense. I know that. So I know that was a big thing back in the day.
This. Well, I'm assuming you're going off of memory when we had the set 16 support cron for that. So you don't have any trial of this from the end of last fives, do you?
I was playing around with it in Squad Arena, and I think, not that it matters right now because Jabba is not on a defensive GL with Afra, but I was taking out Jabba very easily.
I remember QA and Treya being like the two things you targeted with it.
Did it beat Queen Amidala? That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
it
this is the Ken versus Will conversation we're going to get into. I had reasonable success with it. I think I was like 5 for 6 with it, but other people did not have those same successes. But I also had the team modded maybe a little bit better. But yeah, it did work. And those were the two things that I remember targeting with it. So yes, I think that's also a great shout out.
All right, Fatal, how about you? Where do you weigh in on questions A and B? Your mic's off, by the way. You should know.
Can't hear you.
I think questions like this are what are leading to the dismantling and tearing apart of our society. And a hot dog is clearly a hot dog. In any normal conversation, if someone said, "Hey, do you want a sandwich?" and you come back with a hot dog, I think you would. I'd
slap your shit. Yeah. To be fair, that's true. That's true. But technically, right is the best kind of right, and I usually like to lean into that. But to your point. Yes.
If I ordered a sandwich, goddammit.
If I ordered a sandwich anywhere and somebody brought me a hot dog, I'm flipping the table.
No, I think these people are monsters. I think that they better watch out. No, I don't know, man. It's fucking support cron. It's just gonna do some stupid shit on offense. I don't really spend time on that shit. I don't it'll probably be good with Batch or some shit, right? Like Batch make a ton of buffs. I don't know. It's the least interesting side of Galaxy Heroes for me. It's gonna go on some offense team. It's gonna one shot some team in like 30 seconds. It's gonna be like, wow, that's gameplay. All right, what are we doing?
Probably. Yeah. Sasha, how about you?
On the hot dog dilemma, I'm definitely. I guess I don't know that I have I put quite the social import on it that Fiddle does, but I agree that I'm from the pragmatic school of linguistics. I think the intent of language is to achieve audience understanding. And if somebody said, get me a sandwich and you brought him a hot dog, there would have been a miscommunication and a failure of language. So yeah, technical definition aside, no. But yeah, now that I think of it, maybe that is why society's failing. And then
It's like another version of the shopping cart test. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. And I actually, this is a little ridiculous, but maybe and I don't intend to do it, but what about like a like Tarkin led dark side clone squad with support, and then finally we can relegate LV back to the same level of uselessness that Ahsoka is achieving in our current meta. But no, LV can go out and do his own stuff. Maybe he hangs out with Maul and the Mandalorians and uses a Garcron. And so you get LV, Maul, Gar, ISC, and RG, who's been like parked in the garage for a while, so Royal Guard again, and then we throw Tarkin with support, and maybe that would be a lot of fun. Feel free to set him on defense against me because all that crap will suck on D, but I thought it would be fun on offense.
Fair.
I just checked my Royal Guard. I don't know why he has these.
Yeah, it's a shame. I robbed him a little while ago. He's wearing something serviceable, but nothing like what he used to have.
Yeah, he's still in like the Royal Guard.
I'm 5 minutes late to another meeting.
Hey,
I gotta jump, you guys. But thank you. Hey, Vexitron, awesome to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. Fun conversation, you guys.
Sounds good. All right, take care and send us any notes you want for the end if you want. I'll read it off at the end. But take care. DJ, it's up to you now. Oh man,
we're gonna look all jacked up now. Yeah,
look, the video is just.
We're doing it live.
Just borked.
Really quick. This is called hair.
Just borked. Oh, is this borked?
Yeah, it's perfect. No, this is the average stream. We're good to go.
Yeah, this is professional. You can have half of everybody's head now.
To answer the question simply, fuck no, it's not a sandwich. I don't need to give all the other shit. No.
Okay.
The shit's not a goddamn sandwich. Knock it the fuck off. Go put hair on the PP. It's okay. Man up. That's just fucking hot dog. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You all can be politically correct. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. No, we're not entertaining here. All right. Just not fuck off. All right. No. As far as support crime, that's to me the level where it applies is, can it do what Queen is doing with the support crime? For me to entertain. I have some other ideas. Again, we could nitpick on some other aspects, but taking a non-GL team, being a majority of any other GL team out there, and then saying, are you going to use it somewhere else? That is a tough sell for me to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have ideas, but will I put that into practice? Then that's basically saying, well, I take Fatal-esque approach because then you're not using that. Yes, it can do other things, but then it's like Queen's on defense or doing something else in. That means I'm also having to invest the love and care where I can just leave it as is and go kill a GL. So it's a tough sell.
All right, guys. We still have a handful of questions left. I'm going to try and move through these in somewhat of a sudden death, quicker fashion. But first one here is from Royal Ranger. Seeing as Ahsoka has been burned so badly, what could be done to bolster her so she isn't so reliant on Exile Ezra? Or a potential fix that doesn't break her, but also doesn't leave her so vulnerable. Also, some rage that she didn't get an event like Leia or Jabba, but they've already announced one for Hondo. Yeah,
I don't know if you can call what Leia has an event. Like, I get that it's like technically an event, but those rewards are shit. And I'm not trying to be ungrateful about free shit, but
they at least kissed an event and said, here, Leia gets this for but we don't have something similar. To the point of being rage is the most expensive GL in history, and you don't even get any ROI. And when she does her slappy fights, it's fun to watch because she can throw noodles at you, but you need Ezra, and then if you don't have that, well, hey, you try.
I just gotta say, you get access to Peridia Patrol by working on her requirements. The thing I don't understand about this argument is CG did something nice. They let you access the event that they could have unlocked Peridia Patrol behind like her permanently. but they were like, okay, we'll let you get access while working on her requirements. And now somehow, genuinely everyone that I've seen speak on the topic is like, I can't believe she doesn't have an event. And I'm like, what, are we advocating against ourselves now? What the what? Like,
I don't think there's it's an advocating against ourselves fatal so much as a reward for having her. So Leia, there is some kind of. I don't disagree with the parity. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't even putting that into context. One, I don't care one way or the other. It's that once you have her, there's no additional benefit to what you're doing with her. She's literally.
It just feels like dark pattern
there.
type shit where it's like
there's always going to
would be happier if they hard lock the rewards. I don't know.
Oh, I honestly do believe that people would be happier if Ahsoka was required for the pretty event because they would have less to bitch about per se.
Yes.
I just think most
agree.
people aren't seeing it the way that Fatal's saying, right?
Right.
But reasonably, the way I look at it is this. I spent a bunch of R9s to get a GL, and I didn't even get a Leia version of an event. And I'm not saying I need one to feel compensated for having Ahsoka. I just understand that some people don't. I understand how a lot of people look at it. Now, to answer the, sorry,
if Perea Patrol was either like an era battle or CG's original plan was that like those like every new release was gonna get like a Duel of the Fates or a Perea Patrol, and that like once we had like 7 or 8 of them, they were gonna start cycling out. You know, that would have sucked eventually. That like, okay, Perea Patrol would have gone away eventually. No, man, that Perea Patrol is a permanent event. That shit's not going anywhere. So like, it's Ahsoka's event, and you compare Perea Patrol to Leia's event. That it's not even a discussion. It's Leia doesn't have an event as far as I'm concerned, and Perea Patrol is like, I would almost say it's better than Jabba's. Like, I don't know, man.
I think
It's pretty good.
I think people see that QA has her own event and view that as Ahsoka not having her own.
It's just
existed,
not having it one for one.
Yeah, I think if POW and MCQ or Master Qui-Gon didn't have an event, sorry, Vex, what were you saying?
Oh no, my computer just went through Windows updates. I'm trying to get back in on my computer.
You're all good, man. You're all good.
No, it's all good, dude. But no, I to answer the other question about Ezra, I think there are a lot of ways they could make her less dependent on Ezra, but I think the entire purpose of her team was similar to JMK, where they wanted her to be dependent on Ezra. Because it allowed them to distribute the power in a different way.
I think this ties into what we were talking about a second ago, in that the idea that we look to move around Exile Ezra so much is more about an indictment of other light side defensive teams more than saying Ahsoka is so bad without him. It's like, well, I mean, to be fair, he was released for her, so
But she is so bad without him. It is comically bad. And the only way I would say we know we're getting Ahsoka season 2, and maybe we'll see a revergence or whatever you want to call it, something different coming in there. But she is so bad. She is a great statted, bulky tank that is completely like, you look at JMK and Cat, right? JMK gets stronger. He does things. He makes things go boom. He's your damage dealer on the team. He's doing different dynamic. There's different pieces that play with it. She has phenomenal stats. She is an amazing tank, and that's it. You're not having anything additional. You look at Padawan Sabine. She's an amazing damage dealer for the team. Huyang is phenomenal at bulking the team and bolstering things that are going to happen with this. Syndulla has a cool setup, and she's going to lock somebody down. Ezra is, oh my God, good. Then you have somebody who is the most expensive character, and we said the same thing about Vader. And without Ezra, our thing is, man, well, there goes my Night Sister food. Or I'm going to go take my B-Cam. Or you're talking about the most expensive character. No, they absolutely need to give a Vader-esque bulk to this character. And my hope would be is that we'll see it with season 2, is what I guess we'll have to wait till. But I also trust what CG did with Vader and seeing how, oh my God, this team is great. Finally, we have something for Vader that we'll probably see that come for Ahsoka when the time comes.
Yeah, I think CG overshot on Ezra slightly, and I do agree with you though, Fatal. Him being ripped away is more of a symptom than the cause. But I do think that they overshot slightly with him, only because Ahsoka is a tank and because the AI is kind of doo-doo. I think if the AI on the Ahsoka team prioritized that special a little bit differently, I think that the team would be a lot better.
You think CG's aware of her defensive viability, and they just, are okay with her defensive viability at this point?
I told
think
Meathead
that-
about all the AI issues when the team came out, and it was not deemed problematic.
Yeah, and I mean, C's not really all that postable in most metas, so I mean, like, I get it. Not
So-
every DL is meant for defense.
So when Leia came out, CG said that we are intending Leia to be an offensive GL, and that just never really happened. Like, well, okay, everyone and their mother is holding Leia now, but everyone and their mother holds everything, so it doesn't fucking matter to me. But like, for me personally, as someone who is still always posting Leia, I get pretty good results and interactivity out of it compared to like the majority of the other GL options. I would still say Leia is solid on defense. So it feels like CG kind of missed that mark with Leia. But it feels like that's kind of coming home for Ahsoka, because Ahsoka is a team that actually has like some insanely good combo potential when you mod them and build them properly with turn order, and it is not reliant on Ezra at all. That you could probably do some serious damage with Ahsoka on offense if you mod for that sort of combo oriented approach. It like, I don't know. I don't want to take my Ahsoka off of defense just because, like, what the fuck am I gonna do post C? Like, no. But I do think that Ahsoka might end up landing in the place that Leia was supposed to, where she just kind of makes more sense on offense a lot of the time. In terms of fixing it, though, it's like they could fix the AI issues. They could. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's just the TW Omicrons. I think they just banked way too much into the TW Omicrons that, like, I feel like a decent chunk of that kind of could have or should have been base kit, because Ahsoka to me really felt like the first like TWGL, where it's just like, why? It's not like this team is like insane in GAC. Why are we making all of the power budget go like limited into TW? This is kind of wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
If the plus 30 speed was on the default leadership, it would shut down Great Mothers. I don't know if it would shut down Bo without Ezra, but I think one step in the right direction would be to put the plus 30 speed on the lead, not just require that in TW, but maybe that's a game balance thing. I don't know.
It would be pretty imposing to have that speed also apply to Ezra. But yeah, it is weird that, among GLs, I think she is the only GL now that doesn't have speed in the leadership. Is that correct? I want to say.
She had it on her. She had it on the Ahsoka DC when everyone had Mirage and it was like plus 15 speed or whatever.
Right.
But that was like seasonal, not
exactly so. Yeah, and so like her leadership is, I think, the only one bereft of speed. Regardless, back to the questions, guys. All right. Revan Reborn asks, I'd love to know your thoughts on the Jawa Datacron. Just best team comp that, to apply it to, and if it will be better on defense or offense. So, yeah, I mean, I think probably for most of us, little chance of seeing the actual Jawa team down. But feel free to disabuse me of that, guys. What are you guys doing with the Jawacron?
No chance you'll see the actual Jawas on defense.
No.
You're going to use it to play with TM. Like that level 3, you're going to use it to play with TM.
That's exactly what it would
be. I think like Vex and others have talked about setting it potentially with your Ahsoka to try to block out other people's Great Mothers. What else?
I do think there's a world where people do like whatever the new pirate is with Quiggold, and or whatever the leader is with Quiggold and
Ithano,
like Hondo, and then like IG-11 Queel. I could see something like that being like a filler team for the
Sure.
people who have it. But outside of that, I just don't know, man. I don't see a lot of value in IG-11 and Queel.
It'll be TM. It's the same thing for the Heracron where it lives at, because one thing we don't have anywhere else is a way to manipulate the turn meter.
All right.
I think he'll be good on a resistance team with Hero Finn, possibly. The level 3. The extra 60% turn meter. If you have them modded a certain way, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, you'd have to be sure to make sure that he's the slimmest of the bunch. So, yeah. All right. Last question here, so that we don't run too far over time. What from Soldag? What will be the best slacker comp this season? Double tanks, Hux and Fu, Fifth Trooper. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to try double tanks.
I think double tank is what folks were looking at end of last season, and also for reasons that are still not clear to me, Slacker, Dre, and Crew was standing up to Bane in 3 versus 3. I'm generally keeping Crew in 5 versus 5 for application with Seer. Maybe it's time to dust off my ninth sister again for service on that team, because yes, double tank seems pretty attractive. Especially if indeed Bane seems to be the go-to for this season. Because this is the last hurrah for set 21, so I expect people are going to be getting their money's worth out of those armor penetration crit damage set 21 crowns on their Bane.
I will have Phasma going last in the turn order,
Mm-hmm.
and I will have her on the team to pump them back around.
Yeah, I remember you and a couple others doing that last season. Sure. TJ, Fatal, your thoughts on your preferred slacker comps on defense this season?
Or Vex.
I'll let Fatal and Vex go.
Okay.
I have a prep for the season. I don't really have an answer.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
so I know 2 tank is like where a lot of the winds are blowing. There's still a part of me that is like pretty curious on red, because I think there is a little something that he's adding, and there are many shades of red that you can play. I don't know. We'll see. Like Foster Red might be something fun or interesting to try. It really just depends on the sort of Bane config that's coming up as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Vex, how about you? What do you think?
I was going to try double tank to start out. I think having first order stormtrooper with that RNG of the extra assists or something like that could cause some issues. Maybe cause some inconsistent plays for people on offense. So that'll be interesting. Like Fatal was saying, maybe red with first order stormtrooper, and then you put your crew on your unaligned forces, your team maybe. I know he has a level 3 that he has ramping, stats, but in terms of, I have a question for Dagger with Phasma. Is that to shut down a certain counter? Because I'm thinking if someone's going to use Bane, that's a cooldown increase. So there's no turn meter gain on that middle special. If you're bringing in JMK, that's counter turn meter gains. So is the Phasma to stop certain counters besides those 2?
I think it provides the largest damage output versus anything you're doing that's not a mirror, JMK, or Bane. And I basically want to pigeonhole you into using JMK or Bane right here. Right? Because I'm not saying there is something cheaper, but if there is, Phasma usually does a pretty good job, if you make her go last in the turn order with Faust, of boxing everything out.
So you're thinking that it would dissuade the ambitious JML player or something?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main, and if it turns out that it doesn't work anyways, then I will probably red just for the additional damage output. Just because just because Faust can't what's his nuts can't TMR Bane or JMK. So if Bane or JMK is the only answer, I will go to like red probably, or double tank. Probably red, because I think damage is going to do more than double tank versus both those. But that's the reason for initially doing it, Vex. Is I just want to make sure that you are going to use Bane or JMK here.
Makes sense. That's a good point.
Okay. DJ, what you say?
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I also agree with Dagger on the last one, is not excluding the Phasma. And I was going back to play with it because it's not only that you get to play with, um, his basic setting things up, and then also the AoE speed down can really literally put you in a point where can mess you up, right? You have the doubt going and circling around.
Mhm.
So I think I wouldn't exclude Phasma. So Dagger calling that was a good one, but there's for additional points. Yes, the TM thing, but again, obviously that gets blacked out. But him said if I'm not, it's basic defense down. I can't remember what Phasma's basic does, but also to me the AOE.
Defense down on basic.
So it's like applying that, tying that in, AoE hitting the crits, and then also the AoE putting up the speed down. To me, all of those feel like pieces to add some nuances to the fight. And one thing you can't have, and one thing that will kill your Bane, is not only the doubts, but those speed downs timely can literally be the factor that you just couldn't get around fast enough to do the next move.
Gotcha.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, guys, appreciate you going through all those questions with me. We got just about every question, and the couple that we missed, I think we balled up pretty well in covering other topics here. So appreciate all of you patrons. Thank you. This is a good set here for Vex Room. All right, guys, takeaways and final thoughts. So we're a couple days away from the start of the new season. A lot of conversation here. A couple new ideas rattling around in our heads. I'd say for me, I am thinking about that defense to offense crown for Jedi Vanguard. Again, the theme for the bottom front wall for week 1 is going to be about choices because we're all expecting the same power teams on defense. So what kind of options can I remove from your toolkit before you have to attempt those power teams? And if anything should go poorly for you, how many fewer tools will you have to address that? Let's see. Aside from that, I want to refine the Datacrons that I might be using with the Jedi Master Mace Windu. Just if I am going to do that offensive defense, have a high defense one. And also think about how I'm going to be using Xeris, because there's actually a lot of flexibility with making people worry about how they want to deal with Mace. It feels like a really good bottom front team. But that's about it for me. Dagger, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts. And crickets. We can come back to Dagger, I guess.
No, sorry. Those of you who know, a little turtle's been brought over. So, yeah, I can answer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to manufacture holds. I think the board is at the point where I think this season, specifically with all of our offensive tools, it's going to be hard to try to trip your opponent up into making mistakes. So I'm probably going to lean more into looking at what my opponent is inefficient against as opposed to what my opponents actually fail against. Because I think it's more likely to drain like 20 to 25. This goes to one of the questions that wasn't asked, but I'm kind of answering it, is I think you're looking to drain a couple banners per fight, because over the course of your entire board, if you can take 15 to 25 banners off your opponent, that is equivalent to a drop. So I think that's what I'm I think that's what I'm going to look to be doing week 1, unless something presents itself that creates a fork, like a very, very clear fork in the road for opponents. Like if you set 2 things up front and something in the back, they just don't have an answer to the thing in the back, or not a clean answer, then yeah, I'll probably do that. But that's kind of my takeaway, is I think that we are just back in the one-shot meta. It's better than pure efficiency, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. DJ, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts. Let's hear from the upper half of your head on one part of the screen and the lower half on the other.
Sorry, we do like this as they go
Yeah,
up and down.
yeah, that's
so
right,
then
yeah.
we'll make it like that. So
That's
we get
right.
so for me, I think it's
so
just
nice
for
of you to
fun.
get TJ a pearl necklace.
I feel good. I was good with that. It's what happens when you're a sub to the Dom, but that's another story for another time. As it goes for everybody else, when we deal with the 11, I have a couple of ideas where I want to start with week one, but I want to try to explore. But I think we're going to be the same as everybody else. I've got a couple of refinements I want to make, a couple of key characters, and then trying to just bulk as many defensive pieces in, because obviously setting up enough of them will probably be the key to victory if I had to guess, but also kind of waning on the whole 5 season because it'll be the same 11 teams and we'll all have the same stuff and we'll go through the same measures. And again, that's not to Fato's point, because Fato's like, you are contributing to the cause, and yes, I'm a part of the problem children, so I will go towards that, but that's where I'm at for at least week one in this, and we'll see where the data's at.
All right. And this is the part where I'd usually turn to Sasha Aisha, but he did have to jump out of the call here to attend to some work stuff. So appreciate you, Sasha. Thank you for making the time. I'm sure you would have had an aspirational take on what you want to do in the first week, and then probably just would have told me that my hat is dumb in the end. So, hopefully you've been well represented in your absence. Fatal, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like I screwed up last season because I had effectively earned an 8-1 score and then dicked around and threw away 4 of those wins. So now I'm in a position where normally that last season would have been the rank repair, and then this season would have been the crappy meta that I throw away matches on to have some fun. Now I am obligated to rank repair during the season, so I don't know what that means for me, but God damn it, I'm still gonna try to post at least 7 GLs and post good B+ teams and try to post a real defense and probably still get one shot, but I don't know, maybe I get to scam people in some places. We'll see. I do think that there will be fun to be had this season. Especially on offense, I think there's a lot of stuff to experiment with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if my score is going to be pretty. It's going to be a ton of Hail Mary, leap of faith. I will probably be losing some matches. I will probably be fighting some people who held Amidala and held Leia and held all this shit, and I'm not going to have those, and that's just going to be auto loss. But yeah, hopefully good entertainment at least.
Okay, all right. And as the only regular member of the show that is also a content creator, where can the good folks find you this season?
Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/ThePlaybook for live streams on both devices, platforms.
Appreciate you. And of course, last but not least, our very special guest, Vexitron. What are your takeaways and final thoughts? What do you what's going to be, front of mind for you heading into the first round of the new season?
So for me personally, I like to use the first round to put less pressure on myself for trying to, obviously I always try to go for the win, but the first round is more of an experimenting kind of thing for me. So I plan on, I don't know if you guys are aware, I stream my alt account live and I do my main account in a video format. So I like to try to see if I could do a bunch of testing on my alt, which is in Kyber 2, Kyber 1 area. So I'm going to be trying a bunch of stuff. I might attempt a Queen Amidala support cron against Darkside Ray, only because there's an interaction where Queen will go first and the whole team gets buff immunity. They don't get advantage. Maybe you could possibly tie that into ramping up, or I don't think it's gonna work out the way I'm thinking, but I want to theory craft it. So I think the whole review for this whole thing is I'm gonna use the first day and the first week for testing to see what works and what doesn't. I'll have a backup plan. Probably gonna stick to JMK, maybe add a version of 5s in there. Don't really use gas as often because the map is so tiny. So gonna be experimenting with those teams. Obviously, right now I'm working on trying to get as many plus 200 defense crons as I can. They really do make a difference with the overall, not just the main teams. You could put 300 defense on your GLs, and obviously that's good. But the tough part is the 300s on the non-GL teams as well, because that could shut down a bunch of counters. So that's my thoughts. Is I think right now I need to focus more on the Datacrons than the team comps seem to be kind of set at the moment. It's more of the perfecting the Datacrons for the teams for me.
All right. Appreciate you sharing that. And of course, as being a content creator yourself, where can the good folks find you this season?
So you guys can find me on YouTube at Vexitron. I'm planning on setting up multi-streaming on Twitch. I do have a Twitch account. I just, for some reason, I use Streamlabs OBS, and I can't figure out how to do multi-stream.
Dig
So,
this. In my Discord, tag the Lost Womp Rat. He's one of my patrons, and he's super, super helpful about all of that back-end integration stuff. Like, he made it a snap for me. What might take you maybe an hour or two to puzzle out for yourself with Google at your side, he'll have you straightened out pretty quick. I strongly recommend you send him a DM. He'll be happy to help.
I really appreciate that. I've been trying to do it for a little bit, so definitely appreciate you helping me out. I will reach out. But yeah, I'm on YouTube currently. Do a bunch of GAC content, do some conquest, do some other stuff, kind of all around. Still, not brand new, but fairly new. I'm 1 year in now of content creating. So
Congratulations.
thank you guys for having me. I mean, a little fun fact, like I've been watching content creators my whole career. I really enjoyed the council with you, Sanjita, Calvin, and then Grand Arena Science. That was always a fun time. So
good time. True. Yeah, I remember that.
So,
yeah, that show faded into the mists of history.
Yeah, but that was fun. So that was a while ago. But I remember, my commutes to work, I used to watch all these creators, and now I'm doing content with them. So it's kind of cool.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you. I love, when I was just starting out a few years ago, and I want to say this is going on my 5th year of streaming this game. I was fortunate enough to have who were already, routine figures on Twitch and YouTube being willing to put me on. So you're already doing your own. I think your channel is already much bigger than mine on YouTube. So you're already doing your thing in your own right. But, welcome on our behalf to the top 50 and, for the real deal competition. Now it begins in earnest. So, on my part, thank you so much for making the time being here. Rest of the room, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a guest, and let us know if you ever want to replace TJ permanently.
That's hateful.
Maybe if I go 3-0, maybe, but not likely.
Go.
No, I love it.
No, Dagger adds so much, so it's okay. So Dagger has a lot to add, cutting everybody off when they try to talk, so it's fine. We'll be good.
Yeah, one more thing, Tessa. What are you up to on YouTube now?
Yeah, recently we crossed over 1,500 subscribers on YouTube, so good milestone.
And all of your subs are good girls and go boys.
I'm sure that they are. Thank you so much for that, Dagger. All right, folks, you've made it here to the very end. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, thanks to my regular co-hosts and to Vexitron for making themselves available to record our show. If you want to catch me live, the place to do it is twitch.tv/Tassinix. I also simulcast on my YouTube channel, Tassinix Gaming, where in addition to this very show, you can catch my previous Grand Arena VODs uploaded with chapters added, all that kind of stuff. Got content like the How to Mod Guide series, starting from the base fundamentals all the way through advanced topics. Got mod guide videos on individual characters and factions that you've asked about. We have, let's see, Datacron set guide reviews, GC Omicron tier list, whole bunch of stuff over there. But regardless, anything that you enjoy over there, hit like, hit subscribe on the channel if you want to see more. Really appreciate your support. Of course, Plotting and Scheming is native to Spotify, but wherever you find our show, check the description. There is a link that you can use to plug us into your preferred podcast program and watch us that way. Aside from that, if you want to support the stream, there are a few ways to do that. First is my Cash App, that is $Tassinix. I have a PayPal, which is tassinix@gmail.com. And if you want to get some early access to some of my content, enhanced scouting power for some of the bots that you see me use routinely on stream for yourself, and a couple other odds and ends perks, you may be interested in checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/Tassinix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the Tass House at the VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming show. That's coming out to our general audience at 8 a.m. on Friday mornings, but patrons get it usually about as early as Tuesday night, within hours of us recording. So you have that early edge going into the first round of the week. You also get early access to certain things like the Datacron set guide videos, the occasional exclusive I might have for patrons. It'll come out months later to the general audience, all that type of thing. And of course, dedicated text and voice chat on Discord where you will usually find me lurking. So pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to Andrew, Banja, Deadpool Cow 28, JJ's Productions Twitch, Jobin4527, Miasmo, Mus Ross, Rays Malbus, Sam Vimes, Sheepdog 47, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, Sweens 14, and White Wolf. At $10 a month, you enter VIP Access Plus, where you get a patron bundle for me and for your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. So, OmegaBot's that tool that I'll highlight at the start of my streams that has those graphs giving you an easily understood sense of your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable HTML version of the report with links that you can click that go right back into Swagga.gg or Insight, whichever you prefer to use. Just helping you save more time on your scout. Alternatively, you might go for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili, which is the #1 tool for your mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you move so easily between your TB, TW, Grand Arena, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster. You can slice hundreds of mods in seconds, be very helpful to your guild and TW, and a few other little perks in there besides. Regardless, no wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you so much to Aussie Mike, Dobby, Esh Sotnikam, Meow for Me, Mr. Tony, Shake23501, Single Malt Jedi, Snack Attack, Striker, Supermard, and Troublefingers. At VIP Access Premium, that's $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all in one subscription. Going and buying those bots, on the open market costs the same, which is why so many of my patrons say this is one of the best value bundles in all of Swagga. Thank you so much to Argots, Arch, Big Ninja, Duckstab, Darth Link, Frick Paddywhack, General Milan, Ibanek, Johnny B. Ottawa, Kev, Mini GK, Hills, Ploon, Twig, Rawling, Saldak, Sir Boss, Sophus, The Lost Womp Rat, Trevor Boy Gaming, Wilco, and Zoltre. And at the top of the list, Ingesters Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper. This madman pops in the stream from time to time and just showers us with hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, incredibly generous support over the years. Thank you so much, my man. And of course, last but never least, our special thanks. First to the Lost Womp Rat, who, I'd already gifted being a patron for life for all the help he's done for me in the background, optimizing my OBS setup. But recently, he took the time, helped me make use of this stream deck that I got gifted last Christmas that was just gathering dust in the corner. And now it's busy being put to use, helping me, run things just a little bit more smoothly in the background, just making life that much easier. So thank you, man, for all that help. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me alcoholic drink, coffee, some food, or just keeping our daughter from tearing the house apart while I'm trying to be halfway decent at a phone game. And of course, to my co-hosts on Plotting and Scheming here, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as ever, it is a pleasure and a privilege to record our show together. Every week, I have the opportunity to be grateful for how you will all make time out of your busy work and family schedules to get together. I learn from you guys every week. Hopefully the feeling is occasionally mutual, but it is not about us. It's about our community. A lot of questions, engagement, discussion comes out from our show, and you guys add so much depth to it. Wouldn't change a thing. Appreciate you so much. All right, moving back over to the main scene, you have survived this long-form episode, and it's been a while since we had a special guest. I enjoy having them when it's feasible to do so, so we'll try and do that again for the next preview episode when we go back into 3 versus 3. Otherwise, look for me live on Wednesday night, somewhere between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern starting. And, of course, we'll be wrapping up this first week of the 5 vs. 5 season in the next episode of Plotting and Scheming. Until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.